All right. Y'all know what's in the news. Y'all know what's going on. Comes to, that old Canelo $100 million situation. I don't have a lot of new thoughts to add to that and just whatever it is Canelo Alvarez means to get into moving forward. The reports that are out there seem to indicate that he's leaning towards the offer that was made to him to box on DAZN against Dimitri Bivol. There's already a tweet out there stating that he may box Dimitri Bivol in May. I think they said the Staples Center. And you know what I mean? If he pick, it's like I can't say anything more about it that I haven't already said. If he goes with Bivol, cool. If he goes with Golovkin, Benavidez, Charlo, whatever, cool, inconsequential. There's just not a lot to add to that conversation anymore. I think the fact that so many people, or the fact I should say, that these stories keep surfacing and so many people end up talking about them is because there's desperation, and that's what's not being said. There are a lot of fighters that are desperate to land that fight. A lot of their managers, a lot of their promoters, they're desperate for their fighters to land that fight, and they are desperate to land that fight because Canelo Alvarez is the only guy who's good for the money. If you want to make a lot of money in one fell swoop, that's the guy to go to. And that much is obvious. But what isn't obvious is that the frequency of times we end up having this conversation about Canelo Alvarez and what he's going to do and how this fight compares to that fight, the amount of times that we do that as of late, it's increasing. And it's increasing because these outfits are desperate to work with him. They are all desperate to work with him, and some more than others. Why are we just now hearing about an offer that was supposedly made to Canelo Alvarez 10 days ago? Why are we just now hearing about this? Is that supposed to be like some kind of a smear campaign to where he seems to be leaning towards the DAZN offer so that 10 days later, after he rejects your offer, that information is made available to the public? Is it like a smear campaign? Because we're just now hearing about this. It's childish, it's silly, and it's downright boring. Like it's boring. And what's even more boring about it is it comes from a place to where they don't want to match their own fighters against their own fighters so that maybe, just maybe, they'll get marquee value of their own. I can't stress that enough, because the reason all of y'all got to wait hand and foot on Canelo is because don't nobody give a fuck about what y'all doing. And why don't they give a fuck about what y'all doing? Because y'all don't want to fight nobody. Y'all don't even want to fight each other. You know what I mean? It's the same conversation. There's not a lot to add to that. There just isn't. I was goody Alex, was goody Johnny, Sophia was, she said I thought, I dig it. Christopher was good. Daniel was good. You know what I mean? Shelton was good, man. Was good. And yeah, I was good, EJ. And yeah, there's just not a lot there's not a lot you can add to that conversation that Jay hasn't said, that I haven't said, that Drew hasn't said. But the reason that the conversation keeps coming up is because those outfits are desperate to work with him. So these stories, they stay in circulation. They're always out there. The same people that have been complaining, going to keep complaining. The same people that have been showing support with their money, with their hard-earned dollars, either going to these fights or paying for the pay-per-views, they're going to do what they're going to do. Ain't shit going to change, man. It ain't going to change. You know what I mean? Now, earlier today, I saw this image on Twitter. It's my beloved Natasha Jonas, who I love. I ain't going to lie. I love that girl. She's going to be facing Chris Namus, man. And Chris, unlike Eva Pietrzkowska, is a natural junior middleweight. She's not like Eva. See, Eva used to hold the title, and you guys have heard me say this before, that Eva Pietrzkowska used to hold the 154-pound title, but she herself was never a real 154-pound fighter. What she was a fighter, I believe, from 140 to 147 that moved up for the opportunity, but she herself was never a bona fide junior middleweight. Chris Namus is a bona fide junior middleweight, a late replacement. And I'm nervous for Natasha. I am nervous because I felt with Eva, Natasha is still the stronger puncher. definitely comes from a great amateur background. With Chris Namus, she's really going to have to box. You know, she's really going to have to move and punch and play at the angles. Don't punch with her because she's bigger than you. She's likely more durable than you and stronger than you. So you don't want to go tempting fate with a fighter like this. Like, this is a very durable, very experienced fighter, has absolutely nothing to lose. Sometimes these late replacements, and I hate to say it because I want Tasha to become a champion. I want to see her win that belt. And I'm pushing for her. I'm asking the Cosmos to give her that. Sometimes with these late replacements, it's hit or miss. You know what I mean? These late replacements, sometimes they fight with the spirit of 1,000 burning suns because they know, hey, this might be my last opportunity. I'm gonna give it all I got. Other times, you know, they succumb to the circumstances that you have not had adequate time to prepare for the opponent that's in front of you. So you do the best you can. This Saturday's card, I really like the card. I really like Jonas versus Namus. I am going to do a breakdown tomorrow after I do the Raven Chapman interview. For those of you that don't know, Raven Chapman's going to be coming on here. She's going to be talking to me live. I'm going to pick her brain, ask her why, you know, just several questions about her career path moving forward. You know, why Queensberry and not Matchroom? You know, how soon does she want to fight for a title? You know, how, yeah, and things obviously that are going on in the sport, like who does she see winning Serrano versus Taylor or Marshall versus Shields? Always a pleasure. Very calming voice. You would never think she's as violent as she is if you spoke to her. But if you watch her fights, she got a mean streak. If you talk to her, you would never think that, yo, it's the same person, dog. It's the same person. She's very calm. I've spoken to her once before here on the channel. I was good. He was God. Jacob, Chris was good. Willie was good. Daniel was good. And yeah, man. And there's a lot more going on in boxing than just the atypical Canelo Alvarez, you know, who's going to win the sweeps. It's because that's been going on for weeks and months, bro. It's literally been going on for weeks and months. And I'm honestly bored with it. Like, I am bored with it. The Castano versus Charlo situation, unfortunate, but many of you know how I feel about it. I would prefer that Tim wait a little longer and let them do that fight, because if they don't do that fight, it creates a very big mess in the junior middleweight division. There are several mandatories that are lying in wait. I don't think it's the end of the world if they wait just a little longer. Let them do that fight, and afterwards, let the chips fall where they may. I would prefer to see the fight. I've said this in a previous video, and I'll say it again here live, that I already didn't like Bryan's chances in the rematch because pressure fighters, they don't tend to make that many adjustments in rematch situations. It's the distinction between Derek Chisora versus Joseph Parker 1 and Derek Chisora versus Joseph Parker 2. By that same logic and on that same premise, I picked Joseph Parker to win the rematch, even though I didn't think he would win the first fight. If you want my honest opinion, I think Joseph Parker got a gift in the first fight. I picked Derek to win the first fight, and in my eyes, he did. But that's not how the judges saw it. Nevertheless, ahead of the rematch, based on that principle, that Derek is a pressure fighter. Pressure fighters don't really make adjustments. They fight the same fight, regardless of who's opposite the ring, in rematch situations or otherwise. They fight the same fight. On that premise, I picked Joseph Parker to win a more decisive victory. That's what he did. In this situation with Brian Castano and Jermell Charlo, I was already picking Jermell to win the rematch by knockout on that premise. But now with the injury, if he is injured, if that story is true, and he has torn or has a slight tear to his right bicep, that really only increases the chances of victory for Jermell Charlo, because he's a volume guy. He's a pressure fighter. He's, you know, his whole thing is throwing, getting in front of the guy, throwing a lot of shots. Well, if you coming off an injury, that might be harder to do. Shout out to Willie Lynch that says, Castano is about to run from a lion into the jaws of an Australian tiger if he's making excuses. Yeah, because he's stuck between a rock and a hard place. If you don't do the Charlo fight, or if that just doesn't materialize, if the Tim Tszyu people want to make things really, really difficult, you have to fight him. And that's not going to be easy because he has a good style for a pressure fighter. Takeshi Inoue is a pressure fighter. Mid-range to inside guy, likes to crowd you, leads with his face, likes to throw a lot of hooks, and is a volume puncher. He's a pressure guy. And we see that against Tim was able to neutralize that pressure with placement, with sharpshooting, with movement. He was able to control Takeshi better than Jaime Munguia. And Jaime Munguia is a lot bigger than Tim Tszyu. But you see the difference that styles makes. Styles make fights. It's a cliche, I know, and we hear it all the time, but it's the truth. Styles make fights. I was goody mad dog. I was goody wise guy. Stevenson versus Valdez has been officially announced. Most people I talk to about that fight favor Stevenson to win the fight. I favor Stevenson to win the fight. I don't see a lot of people picking Valdez to win it. I do feel it's a bad stylistic matchup for Valdez. I do think that. But I would like to hear from the Valdez people. Anybody picking Valdez to win the fight, how do they see it going? Because I want to hear the opposing argument. Perhaps I'm too settled on Shakur winning that fight. Shakur's base style, what he seems to have, he's a pure boxer and a boxer puncher. Now, normally, the pure boxer struggles with the pressure fighter, which is what Valdez is. He's a pressure guy. He wants to crowd you and land bombs. But he's altering the things that he does now since he's with Eddie Reynoso. He is changing. Shakur has the ability to be a pure boxer and a boxer puncher. Being that boxer puncher, that's the style you need to beat Valdez. You got to be able to toggle between the three. You got to be able to assert yourself and let your hands go when the time calls for it. You can't fight the whole fight on the back foot, shooting straight shots from the outside, because that's more or less what costed Conceição the fight. There have to be moments where you step into the punches and you bring the fight to him. That's the difference between a boxer puncher and a pressure fighter. That boxer puncher lives in between the pressure fighter and the pure boxer, to where he's not always moving backwards. He's not always moving laterally. He's not always on the defensive. There are going to be moments when they try to land hard shots. That's the distinction. All right, so Sophia has Valdez. Sophia is one of the few people that I see that is picking Valdez to win the fight. And, I think about the fight, and I'm like, just stylistically, I don't really see how Valdez wins the fight unless he just lands some sort of just crazy-ass punch. I don't really see how he wins the fight, but, hey, that's why we watch. You know what I mean? That's why we watched. I was Goody Wexford. Juan has Valdez winning the fight also. He has Valdez winning the fight. I do think it's going to be a good fight, but I won't lie to all of you. The fight that's happening that night, which is the fight that I'm looking forward to, that will have my attention the most, and that's Taylor versus Serrano. That's the fight that really has that night, because they're happening the same night. I don't have to divide my attention, though. If you ask me which fight am I looking forward to the most, it is that fight, more than Valdez versus Stevenson, because I'm settled on Valdez versus Stevenson. There's not as big an air of spontaneity. With Taylor versus Serrano, there's always that question as to whether or not Amanda is as good as people think she is, or was all of that just matchmaking? Is Katie Taylor on the back nine? Is she on the slide? And is Amanda catching her at the right time? There's lots of questions there that I want to see the answers. Whereas with Valdez and Stevenson, I feel that Shakur, he can win a comfortable boxing match. He can. The characteristics of the fight, they favor him. He's faster. He's a little taller. He's a little longer. Very athletic. He could toggle between being that pure boxer that's defensive to being that boxer puncher that steps into his shots and uses his power. I remember when people used to give Shakur all this, he's not a knockout puncher. He's not a knockout puncher. I'm like, dog, he's a kid. You got to let him get his man strength. He's a kid. And the other shit is, he not little for them weights. I think Shakur, based on his dimensions, he could probably top out at 140 to 147 when the time comes, when he get older. He probably going to top out around there. For 130, he big for 130. He's big for 130. All right, what's goody, Lucia? I'm gonna shoot you the link. I'm gonna just let Lucia on real quick because I want to chop it up with her about the Chris Namus fight. So I don't want to see 10 guys backstage. I'm just gonna let Lucia on for right now because I want to talk to her about the Chris Namus fight. Lucia is familiar with Chris Namus as I am familiar with Chris Namus, and I want to get her thoughts about that fight and what she thinks about that fight. Do you know if Maldonado ever got penalized for the way he acted? Yeah, he did get penalized, Jacob, but it was like a slap on the wrist. Where did the fight take place? Because the local commission in that state, what they basically did was they banned him. That's what they did. That's how they penalized him. They banned him from being ringside in that state. The reason I say it's a slap on the wrist is because unless Amanda's fight is in that state, it's not going to matter. Isaac Bermudez says, if it's a KO, it's Valdez. If it's a UD, it's Shakur. Yeah, honestly. Sup, Ring, I was goody presto uno. Shout out to Dubai, who I was actually going to talk about some of the fights that are going down in Dubai. You'll notice that Probellum is signing a lot of fighters. They have a growing stable of fighters. Some old faces like Dani Nietes, some new faces like Estelle Mosley and Dina Thorsland, Sonny Edwards, Ivan Ditchko, a heavyweight, unbeaten heavyweight prospect, a very promising amateur background. Very promising prospect, solid amateur background. I believe that's the story on him. And they're just completely rounding out their stable of fighters. They got old fighters like Dani Nietes. They got young fighters and up-and-comers and some familiar faces like Regis Prograis and John O'Carroll. So they mean business is what I'm getting at. And the relevance of that to this conversation is there was a time, when Richard Schaefer first announced that he was going to be doing this Probellum thing, a lot of us didn't know what to make of it, whether or not it would ever get off the ground, and if it showed the signs that it could take off. But a few weeks and a few months later, I see that, yeah, they got great building blocks. They have the right relationships. They have a growing, robust stable of fighters, old and new. I'm actually expecting Cecilia Brækhus to sign to them because Cecilia is back with Jonathan Banks, and Jonathan Banks is over there with Badu Jack. Badu Jack is with Probellum. So I'm actually expecting Cecilia to sign to them. And they have all the ingredients. They're doing their own thing over there in Dubai. They're doing fights at the Coca-Cola Arena. I'm going to let Lucia in on the conversation. I was goody. Lucia, how you doing?
Hi, everything has been going great. Thank you.
So, ¿qué opinas de la pelea con Chris Namus y Natasha Jonas?
Ok, la actividad, la línea boxística y la localidad están del lado de Jonas, pero el tamaño, el aguante de los puños y la pegada y la costumbre en la categoría están del lado de Namus.
I'm going to put you on the spot. Who do you think wins that fight?
Namus.
You're not the first person that told me that. Yo tengo miedo.
Yeah, the difference of weight is brutal. It's brutal. And Natasha, she has been fighting in super featherweight, lightweight. Now this is super welterweight. Is completely different. The punches are different. So yeah, she can punch. Everybody saw that against Terry Harper. But Chris Namus has received power punches, more power than the punches that Natasha can throw. So
yeah. Yo tengo miedo porque I'm having flashbacks de la pelea con la brasileña, Vivian Obanov, que con un trompón que conectó,
Yeah.
la tumbó, and she, she never recovered from that. And look, I'm biased. I am biased. I love Natasha. I want her to
Yeah.
win. Motherfuckers get mad. But I want her to win. And I'm like, yo, this is a very different fight than Eva Pietzkowska. This is Eva no tiene pegada. Boxea
Yeah.
bien, un poquito alta, pero no tiene pegada. So en una pelea así, as long as you apply the pressure, you get her on the back foot, you throw more, you can win the rounds, you can win the fight. With Chris, it's not that simple, B. It's not that simple.
I think if Natasha use her legs, now she knows how to use her legs. Uh, enter. She should come and go. She should enter and do a step aside every time. If she does on a fight like this, she's going to win because Chris Namus, she haven't been fighting for 2 years, maybe
Es
a
verdad,
little bit
mucho
more.
tiempo ha pasado.
Um, this is really different because if you are it's a lot of weight to move. If you are a little weight, for example, a super flyweight, little flyweight, it's different. But Chris Namus is so big, so I don't know the training camp of Chris or something like that. But Natasha is going to use her legs to win this fight because it's the only thing that is going to help her.
I agree. The legs and the fact that she's a southpaw, so she can try to stay on the outside of Chris's jab and just try to maybe either bring the straight left down the pipe after she sets it up or shoot the lead left. It's like, yo, and even that, you're not gonna knock Chris Namus out. I mean, that's not gonna happen. So
That's
you
not
got to
possible.
box.
Yeah, yeah.
Also,
Chris Namus is not Terry Harper, for example.
exactamente. This is not a super featherweight. This is not a lightweight. This is a fucking junior middleweight, a real junior middleweight. So you're not knocking her out.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. It's a really interesting fight for Namus because her comeback, a lot of time away from the ring and things like that. So I think this fight is going to say what's the next for her.
Mm-hmm. Now, when it comes to the main event, we got Amir Khan, we got Kell Brook. A mí me encanta esa pelea. Yo sé que están viejecitos, que ya no aguantan puño, pero por eso es que la pelea ahora es interesante, porque cualquiera de los dos puede ganar. Who do you see winning that fight?
It's a 50-50 fight. It's a 50-50 fight because in one hand you have any one of them any one of them can aguanta puño. Any one of them can do it. So, but I think Amir Khan has the problem in his jaw because if someone touch him, like for example, like Terence Crawford did, he become, I don't remember word, desesperated. He became desesperated. He started to throw punches in any way. He lose against Crawford, for example, all of his skills. He's an aggressive fighter, and he lose that. So if Kell Brook take that in an advantage, he's going to win. He's going to knock him out. But on the other side, Kell Brook has an stamina.
Bueno, no es nada más eso, es que hay tanta vaina, porque la pelea, el peso de la pelea, catchweight, 149, eso no ayuda a Brook. That doesn't help Brook at all. Even though there's no rehydration clause, at the end of the day, you trying to get to 149 libras, you may end up leaving it all in the gym before the fight, just trying to get to 149. Eso, y también Kel no aguanta puño the way that he used to. Like now, yo veo que si le da duro, he could go. So
Yeah,
it's a good fight, man.
yeah. I think it's a 50-50 fight. Both have many problems in his skills and with his faces because they have problems with their faces. So
El ojo, los dos ojos. He's
yeah,
like the
barriga de
Terminator.
cristal y ojo de vidrio.
Yeah, yo.
Yeah, it's
Ok, la situación con Castaño. ¿Qué piensa?
eh, creo que Charlo tiene miedo.
Hmm.
Charlo is scared to fight against him because Castaño, él nunca había dicho nada. O sea, eh, Charlo tuvo problemas desde el inicio para hacer la revancha. Mientras que Castaño se estaba casando, Charlo quería pelear. Eso no iba a ser posible, el hombre tenía sus merecidas vacaciones. Aparte, ¿qué quería? En el medio de su casamiento, plantar un ring. Jamás. Bueno, mientras Castaño estuvo haciendo eso, él estuvo entrenando, presionando para que la pelea se haga en febrero. Querían hacerla muy rápido.
Mhm.
Castaño dijo que no, porque no tuvo el tiempo necesario para prepararse. Después lo que sucedió es que la pelea iba a ser en Houston, Texas. Eh, no fue así, por suerte, porque de esa forma robarían otra vez a Castaño.
Mhm.
Castaño nunca dijo nada, no sale, no se queja, no dice nada. Lo único que se dijo en el día de hoy fue que se lesionó. Charlo dice que es mentira, Paco va a cárcel, dice que es su culpa. Come
Eso
on,
es lo que yo te iba a preguntar. ¿Por qué tú imaginas que Paco dice eso? Porque eso es brujo que el presidente, el dinero. Mm,
money,
mm,
money.
mm,
And, ok, no hay fechas para hacer la pelea un mes después.
mm.
Y es una pelea que vende muchísimo. So, Castaño dijo que él en 4 semanas se recupera. Pero en 4 semanas no hay ninguna fecha para ellos.
Mm.
So, meten a Tim Tissue y al retador de la IBF en el medio. Cuando, come on, this is the fight. Not Tissue, not the IBF mandatory for Charlo. This is the fight.
Pero ¿cómo tú how do you imagine that the situation, like, do you think that they'll reschedule the fight and it'll go ahead? Or do you think que no va a haber solución? The fight is dead y parece que va a ser Tim Tszyu con Castaño. How do you see it happening?
Castano is going to leave the belt.
You think so?
Yeah,
You think he's gonna vacate it?
yeah,
Embuste.
yeah.
Yo no te lo, no. You say you believe he's gonna vacate?
If the fight, if they are going to make this fight in Australia, Castano is going to leave it vacated. If this fight is in USA, but Tissue is not an star in USA, Castano is going to fight. It's easy. The same happened with Michael Soro. Castano went to Francia,
Yeah.
to Francia, to Paris, I don't remember. He won, but he won because of his manager did a tremendous scandalous on the ring because the French people were stealing him.
Yeah.
So if this fight is going to take place in Australia, he's not going to fight. He's going to leave it vacated. He will have another opportunity soon. It's Brian Castano.
Diablo. Hot take, man. I wanted to
That's my
ask
opinion.
I wanted to ask you about I know you saw the Shields fight. Just what did you think about that fight and how does it relate to the Savannah Marshall fight? Que estaban discutiendo la manera que boxeó, porque Emma Cousin tampoco, ella no es Savannah Marshall, ¿me entiendes? So,
No, no.
how do you see, what did you think about the fight? Ella con Emma Cousin.
Uh, a lot of people is going to say a lot of embarrassing things about what I am going to say, but again, showed a really brutal skills. Yes, Emma Cousin is nobody. But if you want a fighter who is similar to Floyd Mayweather, that is Clarissa Shields, and she has the style, she has the stamina, she has not the punch, because she had a pill of punches, but she has a perfect timing. She was practicing.
Yes.
It wasn't a fight. ¿Cómo se dice? Display.
Uh-huh.
It was a display in her career. She was practicing new skills. We showed her new skills. She was boxing with her shoulder. It was a really good fight. It was a really good fight to do this. I think she's preparing a massive fight against Amanda Marshall. She's preparing an amazing she will try to outbox her.
Mm-hmm. Now, te voy a hacer otra pregunta. Si eso fuera Savannah Marshall con esa misma Emma Cousin, do you think she would have stopped her?
Yeah, easily,
Yeah.
easily. Savannah, she doesn't waste time in the ring. She doesn't waste time. Look what she did with Rankin. She
No.
went there, she outboxed her for many rounds, and she said, "Okay, I'm going to knock you out," and she knocked her out.
I'm gonna ask you a different question, Lucia.
Hmm.
Does Savannah stop Shields?
I don't think so. I
No.
don't think so. Shield has an advantage. She visited the floor. She visited the floor against Hannah Gabriels,
Mm-hmm.
and Hannah Gabriels punched her.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, Savannah can knock her down, but I don't think she's going to knock her out. Savannah is slow.
Mm.
She's
Mm.
really
That is true.
slow, and
I mean, I wouldn't
Shields.
say she's slow, but she's definitely not as fast as Shields, and that's important. That Shields is
That's
fast and she gets the
Shields.
counters out there quick.
She has the perfect timing. Shields has a perfect timing. She's always in the fight. She's mentally in the fight every time. You can move her. You can move her thoughts from the fight. She's fighting. If you remember that round against Hannah Gabriels, it was nothing for her. That knockdown, it was okay, and she was in the fight again. So she's mentally hard. She's a strong woman on the ring. Both Savannah and her has beautiful skills in boxing. Savannah has the power, and Shield has the timing. So it's going to be a good match.
Mm.
It's a 50-55, but I think it's 60-40 to Clarissa.
Hot take, hot take.
I love
What
Savannah.
I look, I'm gonna be honest. I I followed them both since they went pro. I enjoy Savannah's boxing more. I enjoy it. Like I really like watching her box is
Yeah,
very
it's
entertaining.
beautiful.
The problem with Shields' fights is not Shields. The problem with Shields' fights is her opponents. They give up. When they get hit, she's too fast, she's too quick, and they stop trying. They just cover up, try to survive. That's what they all end up doing. And because she's skilled, she's quick, got the counters, she don't have the power to finish them. That's really why it's like I enjoy Savannah a little more. The both of them is very skilled, but she can, she can get the girl out of there after a while. Once she figures it out, she can get the girl out of there. Whereas with Shields, it's gonna go to the cards. It's gonna go to distance. So that's the only drawback. But other than that, you know what I mean? What else is going on? What else is going on? Let me think. Let me think. La vaina con Canelo. La misma vaina. Cada semana.
Danny Roman. Danny Roman against Fulton.
Oh, eso yo lo sabía ya porque él es dual mandatory. Él es dual mandatory. Él es mandatory con WBO, I think,
Y
and
WBC.
WBC. So ya eso yo lo sabía ya porque Fulton está diciendo de que no, que el MJ Akhmadaliev, pero mira, con los politics, I hate to say it, but it's just the truth. There won't be no undisputed at 122. That's not going to happen. MJ está con Matchroom, Fulton está con
No, but
PBC.
MJ doesn't want to fight. He has, I don't know, 10 mandatory fights soon.
Esto es la vaina, esto es la vaina. Yo no le puedo echarle la culpa yo no, in other words, I don't blame either of them. I don't blame Fulton, but I don't blame MJ. Why? Which one of your promoters sent the other an offer? Because that's the only way it's going to happen. Did you send MJ an offer? Did MJ send you an offer? If nobody sent anybody an offer, y'all both to blame, or I can't blame either of y'all. But it's the same thing.
I have a good point. I have a good point. After Gabriel Rosado knocked Melukusia out, MJ said that he was scared to be knocked out. So it's supposed to fight against Ronnie Rios. They have never fight. So he's going to fight against. Sorry for this, but he's going to fight against nobody. And he's a world champion.
Mm-hmm.
So they are protecting him. They used to say that Akhmadaliev it was going to be the next Lomachenko or something like that, and he's showing that he doesn't want to fight anymore. Danny Roman is calling out him for a lot of time, and he has never given him the rematch. So
Bueno, también, esto es la otra cosa. Because I know you spoke to Danny Roman, ¿verdad? Pero what I found strange, después de esa pelea con el MJ, él se fue para el PBC. So,
no se
no.
fue. Matchroom leave him.
Oh, they left. Okay, so they. Oh, okay.
Sent him on a card saying, "We don't want to work with you anymore," and he was a free agent. And then PBC took him.
El diablo.
Yeah, Matchroom, Eddie, anybody who wants to Danny fight against MJ again.
I didn't know that. I wondered this whole time ever since that fight. I wondered, why did you go to the PBC if you want a rematch? You're not going to get it if you're with them, but that kind of explains it. If they dropped them and told them, get out of here, that makes sense.
At the beginnings of 2020.
That makes sense. But either way, I mean, con la política en esa división, it's not going to happen, bro. Like, it's not going to happen. Unless Stephen Fulton, and they're not going to make an offer. Fulton's people are not going to offer MJ anything to do that fight, but I don't see Matchroom offering Stephen anything to do that fight. Like, I don't see none of y'all sending nobody nothing to do the fight. He's fighting his mandatories, you're fighting your mandatories. And in all likelihood, tú sabes lo que yo veo, que posiblemente si Inui le gana a Donaire y después quiere subir de peso, ¿con quién va a pelear? MJ. Eso es lo que yo veo. Yeah, and it's not a bad fight.
Donaire is going to kill him.
You're crazy.
No, I'm not crazy. Nonito
kill who? Inui.
No, Nonito against MJ.
No, mira, esto es lo que va a pasar. Vamos a hacer again. La noticia es que este junio quieren hacer la revancha con Inui y Donaire, ¿verdad?
Okay.
So, después de eso, yo me imagino que Inui lo va a noquear. Ok, después de eso. Vamos a ver lo que es la situación con Casimero, porque Casimero, él está involucrado en una vaina ahora. Yo no sé si tú oíste.
Sí.
Que él está involucrado y yo no sé lo que va a pasar con el título, con la pelea. Yo no sé lo que va a pasar. Okay, but I wouldn't be surprised if Inui doesn't get to fight him. I wouldn't be surprised.
I will tell you what I think about Inui and Nonito. Nonito is a monster right now. He's a monster right now. He's been fighting and he becomes a hunter. Since Ovali. Then what's the name of the
Gaballo. Raymond Gaballo.
Yeah, Gaballo, yes. So he is a monster. And Inoue has been fighting against nobody since fought him. And what happened? Since he fought him, his orbital bone was broken. And it's not the same nausea as always. The level of his opponents is down. And a fight against Nonito again is going to be completely different.
Nonito, vamos a apostar. Yo te lo estoy diciendo. Él lo va a noquear. Él no va, te lo estoy diciendo. Tú vas a ver.
No creo. Nonito está muy fuerte.
Él está fuerte, pero todavía está lento y más viejecito, porque esa pelea con, con Inui, eso fue hace 2 años. Ese hombre tiene casi 40 años ya.
Tiene 40, sí, tiene 40. Yeah, but I can see 40 years in her left. I can't see 40 years in his power.
Bueno, ¿y qué se dice del poder? Power is the last thing to go. You know, your legs go, your speed goes, pero la última cosa que te va es la pegada. So, él todavía da duro. He still has a great left hook and a great jab y toda la cosa. Tiene todo eso. But those are the last things. With that speed que tiene el japonés, que tiene Inoue, va a ser diferente 2 years later. It's going to be different 2 years, I'm telling you.
Yeah, but el japonés estuvo peleando con nadie. Sorry, but Moloney is not.
Mandatorio. Tenía que pelear con ese that Australia. He had to.
Y el japonés.
Ok, te voy a decir. Él tenía como 2 mandatory que yo vi y también the last guy that he fought. Now, the last guy that he fought, he was a nobody. He was like a kickboxer or some shit. And he was just a voluntary. But the other 2 were mandatories. The other 2, Jason Maloney. I forgot the other guy, the Filipino guy. I think he was from the Philippines. Pero mira lo que le hizo a Maloney. Mira lo que le hizo a ese Filipino.
Sí, pero Nonito no es Moloney.
Tú vas a ver. Tú vas a ver.
Mira lo que le hizo Nonito a Ubali.
No, pero yo sabía. I'm like, look, when it came to Nonito. No, I'm a Nonito fan. I'm telling you the truth. When I saw que él iba a pelear con Ubali, yo sabía que Ubali no le aguanta la pegada a este tipo. He still hits like a truck. He's gonna win and he's gonna become WBC champion. I knew that, pero ese Ubali is basic. Inoue, that speed and those straight punch, like nah, bro. It's gonna feel different 2 years later.
What do you think of a fight between Nonito and Daniel Humana?
If it happens, it's a great fight.
Yeah,
if it happens.
I
But yo no me imagino que Nonito va a seguir pelear después de esta pelea. Si ellos hacen esa pelea en junio con Inoue, yo me imagino que él se va a retirar después de esa pelea. Especially if he gets knocked out. Porque ya no vale la pena to stick around. You know what I mean? Esa pelea con Inoue is the biggest money fight you could have anywhere at or around those weights. Nadie te va a darte más dinero que ese tipo, porque ese tipo es una estrella en Japón. He's a star. Peleando con Danny Roman, you could get some money, you know, some, but how much really? What, 500, 300,000, 500,000? What are you really going to get? I don't think he's going to stick around longer. And fucking Donaire's resume is incredible, bro. Like, he's already a 4-division champion. He already been a champion multiple, like, él no tiene que probar nada a nadie at this point. It's a wonder he's still here, knocking fucking people out. You know what I mean? So, but that's what I think is going to happen with that. Yo no te hice esta pregunta del Errol Spence Jr. con Jordani Uga. ¿Qué opina? Uga.
Yeah.
What do you think of Spence? What do you think is going on with Spence? Porque lo que sabemos es que este tipo no peleó en un año y yo no me imagino that you missed a whole year porque tú estás fuertecito and you're healthy. No. You know what I mean? Like, you don't miss a year if you're strong and you're healthy. No. Do you have Ugas winning the fight?
Yes. Ugas has. I think Ugas won against Sean Porter too, and this is not the same Spence as always. I always say the same, but Spence is not the same since the car accident, and then his surgery on his eyes. Ugas is going to use his legs. He's going to win the fight with a completely Cuban style. That's the reason that anybody wanted to do this fight.
Coño, pero si Uga gana, ahí se fue el welterweight division. El welterweight division va a ser un fracaso si él gana. Porque él no tiene the fans para traer el dinero para la división, ¿me entiendes? Si él gana, he becomes unified champion. Lo más que pueden hacer con el, because if he fights the winner of Butaev versus Stanionis, my gut tells me that he will lose. that he'll lose to whoever wins that fight. So lo más que tú puedes hacer para protegerlo, put him in there with Keith Thurman. Porque Keith Thurman ya no sirve. No sirve. Él no sirve. No sirve. He went 12 rounds with Barrios. No sirve. What do you think of Keith Thurman?
No, I don't like it.
Nobody likes Keith Thurman, yo. Everybody has.
I didn't watch his fight against Mario Barrios because I know what was going to do that fight. So I don't like it. I don't like. I think he's wasting time.
Yeah. That's the same thing, I think. Pero también, tú sabes que si lo ponieran, if they would have put him in there, vamos a decir, por ejemplo, que they would have put Thurman in there with Butaev, Butaev lo mata. Lo mata. Si lo ponen ahí con ese fuertecito de Lithuania, I think he's from Lithuania, Stanionis. Stanionis lo mata. He wouldn't have made it past those guys. Keith, para mí, is so bad right now that the safest fight that you could have put him in was Barrios. If you put him in there with anybody that's decent, anybody, Castillo Clayton, especially Jaron Boots Ennis, lo matan a ese tipo. So they got to keep him healthy para que, okay, esto es lo que vamos a hacer. Si Uga gana la pelea, le damos a Keith Thurman to raise his marquee value, posiblemente él noquea a Keith Thurman y ahí Uga posiblemente una estrella or Spence, porque también el otro lío con esta pelea es que, mira, Errol Spence Jr.'s last fight, it didn't do big numbers. 250,000 pay-per-views en un país como este, eso no es nada.
Sí.
So what are you going to do with Ugas? More people know Danny Garcia than they know Ugas. And what you did with Danny was 250,000 buys. What are you going to do with him?
But they are not going to put him in front of another fighter.
¿Qué opina de Isaac Cruz con Yuriorki Gamboa?
I like that fight because
¿Te gusta?
Yeah, it's going to be a display in Cruz's career. Maybe I don't know because he's in PBC. Isaac Cruz is in PBC.
He's in PBC. Porque él está con Sean Gibbons y todos los boxeadores, for the most part, most of Sean's guys are PBC guys, so he's basically PBC.
I think if he does a good performance against Gamboa, everybody's going to say, why don't Cruz fight against David Haney? Because David Haney couldn't knock Gamboa out, below hands, blah blah blah. So I think he's doing that route. You know?
Yo voy a decir esto, si él no queda a Gamboa, ellos van a hacer la revancha con Gervonta.
I don't think it was a unanimous decision.
Te voy a decir, Davis no pelea con nadie. Y él va a seguir, él no va a pelear con nadie. They want to keep everything in-house. La única manera que tú puedes hacer eso es, ok, Davis pelea con Rolly Romero, Isaac pelea con Gamboa. Después, si tú le ganas a Gamboa, te damos la revancha con Davis y ya. Davis no está interesado en pelear por cinturones. He doesn't care about belts because he has like a fucking baby belt, una vainita, una mierda que no significa nada. Él no va a pelear con Devin Haney. Davis no va a pelear con Devin Haney. Y él no va a pelear con George ni con Lomachenko. Él no va a pelear con nadie. Es más, que te voy a decir algo. It may disturb you. Rolly might beat him.
No, I don't think so.
Yes, yo. ¿Tú sabes por qué? Mira, te cogió 12 asaltos para un Gamboa que only had one leg. You needed 12 rounds to knock him out. A Gamboa that had one leg. Espera. Con Isaac, you couldn't knock him out. Isaac es chiquitico ese muchachito, chiquitico. Rolly no boxea bien, pero él es grandecito y fuerte. So si él, if he throw one of them retarded ass punches, te lo estoy diciendo, tú vas a ver. You gonna see.
Jackson Martinez outboxed Trolley, and I think Gervonta is going to do the same because
No,
yes, Rolly is not the same as that.
Jackson Mariñez is a little longer and taller than Davis, and he fights going backwards. Davis fights more going forward. Yo no
Yeah,
veo eso.
but Rolly has problems en su guardia, you know. Y Gervonta, nos guste o no, pega duro. So, cuando una mano, Rolly nunca ha sido golpeado, you know. Nadie le ha pegado tan fuerte. So,
Lucía,
Jackson
está
Martinez,
diciendo que el muchacho
dime.
pega duro, pero necesitaba 12 asaltos para Gamboa, que nada más tenía one leg. He only had one leg. No pega duro,
No,
Lucía. He doesn't hit hard, man. He doesn't hit.
I think it was a special situation against Gamboa.
¿Y con Isaac?
Y con Isaac, creo que Isaac sorprendió,
No.
you know.
Tiene mucho, mira, ok, vamos a decirlo así. You and Isaac, you have a pressure guy. He's coming forward, he's going to crowd you, and he's going to make himself available for you to hit him. And when that happened to you, you got uncomfortable and you didn't hold your ground. You started getting backed up. You started moving around. Eso me enseña a mí que él no tiene la pegada that people think he has. Porque if you did, you would have took him out.
No, I don't think so. I think styles make fights, and Isaac Cruz, everybody saw that he was todo el mundo dijo que era un tirapiedra. Nomás que era un tipo que iba a ir a chocar y que lo iban a noquear. En cada round, el rincón de Isaac Cruz estaba seguro de lo que estaba haciendo. En cada round se hizo un ajuste diferente. Cuando Isaac Cruz le llegó el uppercut, luego ajustaron y dejó de llegar el uppercut. Cuando Gervonta tiraba por un lado, Cruz subía su mano. Nunca llegaron las manos de poder a Isaac Cruz. That's the reason that Gervonta couldn't knock him out. And then Gervonta le pegó en un codo, you know, desde abajo y se lastimó una mano. Eso se notó. No es una excusa, no lo pudo noquear, pero Isaac Cruz tampoco era una persona que fue a cobrar el cheque.
You have a higher opinion of them than I do. What I've seen of Gervonta Davis is toda esa vaina de subiendo. Si en el 130 él tenía pegada, en el 130, pero subiendo y bajando, eso te afecta, subiendo y bajando. Él subió para el 130, al 140, después para atrás, para abajo, para el 135. Eso te afecta, eso te quita el poder.
Sí, lo sé.
Con eso, right? Que Davis doesn't usually fight good fighters. That's the first thing. Peleó con Cuellar, who had not fought in 2 years, y le perdió a Abner Maras the last time he was out, después Fonseca, después Hugo Ruiz. Él estaba peleando con puro nadie en divisiones que tenían boxeadores buenos. Todo eso te afecta. Y el momento de Rolly Romero está llegando. Que él va a ser pound for pound número 1.
Okay. I will tell you something. Many times I will tell you something, okay? Let's listen. This is recorded, and when this fight happens, we will talk again, and we will remember this, because I'm telling you, Rolly Romero is not a good fighter.
He's terrible. I think he's terrible. But I also think that terrible fighters, Leon Spinks, Muhammad Ali, Buster Douglas, Mike Tyson. Andy's not terrible, but Andy Ruiz, Anthony Joshua. Stranger things happen. Y Gervonta, I've been watching this guy for years, but he's not what people say he is, bro. Because you know why? If he was, they would let you fight. They'd let you fight. They don't let you fight. They want you to only fight these guys. Only these guys. Devin Haney, sea lo que sea, peleó con Linares. Sea lo que sea, peleó con Joseph Diaz. Davis, all right, when you gonna fight somebody like that? When? Now,
Wait, I was reading the comments. Sorry. Okay, what do you think? This is Gervonta Davis has an amazing background, amateur background. This is completely important. He won the Golden Gloves in United States. So this is completely important because you have a lot of competitors to win that. So I think this is completely important. And then who is his promoter? Mayweather. What is Mayweather doing with him? He's trying to do an star, but this is not helping him because he was moving up and moving down, like you said. Yes, but the guy has the style, has outside the ring. He could be whatever he wants. He could do what he wants, but inside the ring, he is completely educated. You know, he knows how to listen. He knows how to box. He punch. He can use his legs. Es un boxeador muy completo.
no.
You know.
We're gonna disagree. We're gonna disagree. Es easier to look complete que cuando tú peleas con puro nadie en el 130. Ponlo así. En el 130, tú tenías Tevin Farmer, Miguel Burchell, Vasily Lomachenko. Tú no peleaste con ninguno de ellos. Jezreel Corrales, Alberto Machado, no peleaste con ninguno de ellos. Masayoshi Ito, Jamel Herring, no peleaste con ninguno de esos. Ok, en el 135 tiene Luke Campbell, Jorge Linares, Iván Mendy, Vasily Lomachenko otra vez, Devin Haney, no pelea con ninguno de esos. Ok, vamos por el 140. Ok, tú no peleaste con nadie en el 140 y hay demasiado talento en esa división. Regis Progress, Suriel Matías, José Zapata, José Ramirez, Josh Taylor. Tú no peleas con nadie. Y eso, that's been going on ya por como 4, maybe 5 años, que el tipo no pelea con nadie. So it's easier for him to look like that. Bueno, tú no peleas con nadie, manín, so of course. Tú no estás peleando con los boxeadores que tienen estilo and they got skill of their own. Tú estás peleando con nadie, con Cuellar, con Hugo Ruiz, con Francisco Fonseca, con Dique Mario Barrio. Ese tipo no peleó con nadie. Él no le ganó a nadie especial en el 140. So, si tú lo noqueas a él, eso no significa nada. The real guys at 140, you didn't fight them. The real guys at 135, you didn't fight them. So however you look is because you're not fighting them.
I think his career is based in collect belts.
Su carrera is basically, it's not about belts because he doesn't care about legacy. He doesn't care about legacy. His career is all about selling tickets, I'll say. Selling tickets.
Yeah, I think so. But even though he is a good fighter, even if he have never fought against a really good fighter, for example, in, I don't know, in 135, Lomachenko, even though that is a good fighter, the fight that everybody want to see, or maybe me is everybody, sorry, but I want to see is Shakur against Gervonta.
Shakur le gana.
Yeah.
Too fast.
I think so.
Too fast.
I think so, but it's going to be a really good match.
Y yo pienso que, bueno, si la pelea con Lomachenko y George pasa, I anticipate that Loma will win. He will win the lightweight titles. Después, after maybe 1 or 2 fights, Shakur will fight him, and Shakur will beat him. Y ahí, pound for pound, toda la vaina. No porque Lomachenko es malo, él es he's one of the best, pero va a estar viejecito. En ese tiempo, Él ahora cumplió 34 años. Today, he turned 34.
Sí.
So, si tú le das un año y medio, que cuando tiene 35, 36, sí, ya va a estar más viejecito. To where he can be beaten again, because he's been beaten before.
I don't think Shakur can beat Loma because I don't know, every performance right now of Loma is amazing, but we will see this in
A
1 year
ver,
maybe.
y tú vas a conocer la leyenda de Rolly Romero, la leyenda. Tú vas a ver, eso va a ser una historia bíblica.
No, wait. ¿Qué pasó? ¿Qué pasó? Porque esto está grabado y vos después cambiás lo que decís.
Yo no voy a cambiar nada, tú vas a conocer la leyenda de Rolly Romero.
Okay, listen. When I commented here a couple of months ago and I tell you, hey, Katie Taylor is going to fight against Firuza Sharipova, and Firuza is not only a display in Katie's career, you said, she's nobody.
Yo no dije eso, esto está grabado, está loca. Yo no dije eso. Yo dije Firuza Sharipova and Katie Taylor. Firuza has some of the same things Katie has. Goes in and out, likes to flirt. Eso está grabado. ¿Cómo me lo va a decir? It's literally recorded. I said Firuza's good.
Yeah.
Firuza's good. And she's kind of like Katie.
You said it after. You said it after
No,
the fight.
no.
After fighting, you said it that, but before, you said it that she was nobody.
Mira, esto es lo que yo voy a hacer. Yo lo voy a buscar porque yo dije, yo tengo años viendo esa niña Firuza. Yo sé que esa niña boxea bien, pero lo malo que ella tiene es que no estaba peleando con nadie. Y yo siempre dije, eso es lo malo que ella tiene, que tiene el talento y toda la habilidad, pero ella no pelea con nadie. Y yo no sé por qué, porque ella boxea bien. There's a lot of girls she could beat, but her problem is, since you don't fight nobody, you don't go to that next level like Katie, because Katie went to the next level, but she's fighting people. Nina Menke, Anaí Sánchez, Victoria Busto, Rose Volante, y tú peleando with girls that have more losses than wins.
Yeah. Could be. We will see. I will search it too.
Tú vas a conocer la leyenda de Rolly Romero.
No, I don't think so.
Bíblica.
He threw punches in a horrible way. I don't
He's
think
terrible,
so.
pero por esa razón, that's why he's gonna win, porque ese tipo es... That dude sucks, man. But he's big for 135.
What do you think about Valdez against Shakur?
I think Valdez is probably gonna lose on points. Shakur's style tiene similarities to Robson Conceição. But he's better than Robson Conceição. Y ya sé, everybody saw en esa pelea que todo ese movimiento le estaba dando muchos problemas. Shakur can do all of that, but he's faster and a little bigger, and he's got faster legs and faster hands. So I see Shakur Stevenson probably unanimous decision.
In my opinion, la pelea con Robson, no tenía que haberse hecho. Porque, a ver, el tema del doping, he was bad about that. He was bad about that, and he was mentally bad about that. He was trying to explain to everybody that he had never took drugs or something like that, but he was completely affected. It wasn't the same Oscar Valdez as always. He lost clearly against Conceição, and I think si ese era el Valdez al 100%, creo que podría haber sido una pelea distinta. You know? Quizás no un resultado distinto, pero una pelea distinta seguramente. Estaba muy afectado ese muchacho.
Eso se le vio en la cara esa semana, que he was stressed. Pero lo que yo iba a decir también, el estilo de la pelea es lo más importante. Que cuando él estaba peleando con Burchell, había dos cosas pasando ahí. Él tenía la ventaja because he had the right style for Burchell, but most people don't know that. And I've asked, or that is not that I asked, people told me. The camp that Burchell had for Valdez was a very bad camp. That's what a lot, I've heard that more than once from people that know. So when you put those two things together, it's like, all right, well, you had all the ingredients there to be dominant. Robson Conceição is not going to come forward. He's going to move backwards or laterally, and he's going to shoot straight punches. It's going to be on you to get to him. The exact same thing applies to Shakur Stevenson, except he's faster. So lo que yo veo, Stevenson a lo punto.
Yeah, no sé. Va a ser una pelea muy buena. Si Oscar lo alcanza,
Sí.
el tipo pega fuerte. Creo que la pelea va a ser más mental, ¿no? Y luego de los 3 primeros rounds vamos a poder decir quién domina.
Bueno, lo que yo sé lo que I think that what Oscar has to do, because it's going to be hard to land big shots. So the way that he has to try to win the rounds is activity. Throw more shots. Force him to move. The way that you did with Conceição, force him to move, because most people, they don't like it, but that's how he beat Conceição. Keep his back on the ropes and keep him moving while you throw, because at least it looks like you're the one that's moving him. As far as landing big shots like you did on Burchell, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't. But the most you could do is get Shakur to give up ground, put him on the ropes, or try to, and get him to move around. That way it looks like he's retreating from you. Other than that, I still see Shakur beating him, but I feel like that's the most he could do, because he's not going to outbox him. You're not going to outbox that kid.
No. It's not going to. He's not going to win by an outboxer. Pero me parece que no tiene fácil la pelea Shakur.
No.
Para nada. No la tiene fácil porque Oscar no es el típico mexicano. El tipo no solo va para adelante, el tipo se para de zurdo, se para de derecho, usa muy bien la cintura. Es muy escurridizo. Y no solo eso, sino que tiene una defensa muy sólida. So, me encantaría ver cómo Shakur resuelve eso, porque creo que todavía nunca peleó contra alguien como Valdez. Valdez, en cambio, peleó con gente muy fuerte. Scott Quigg, por ejemplo, con Scott Quigg la pasó muy mal.
Sí.
Miguel Berchelt, yo pensé que Berchelt le iba a arrancar la cabeza.
Yo también, yo pensé que Burchell, antes de esa pelea, yo pensé que Burchell te iba a ganar.
Yo pensé que le iba a arrancar el alma y okay, it was a horrible performance from Berchelt, and anybody knows what happened there. But Oscar won.
Yeah.
On a beautiful fight. He did it very, very beautiful. So I think he has a really, really good corner. He has the correct corner for him. I think Eddie Reynoso is doing a really, really great job with him. And I think, I don't know, I think a draw. I don't think Shakur can win easily or not by unanimous decision.
Yo lo que pienso es que Shakur, lo que él tiene que puede hacer la pelea difícil es que he's not going to give him very many opportunities to land big shots. That's the main thing. That he could slow the fight down, stay behind his jab, and move. As long as you do that, he doesn't get to land big shots. But it's a fine line between moving and running. It's a fine line. You have to be able to assert yourself. Si para mí, Robson Conceição estaba peleando bien en los primeros 3 o 4 asaltos. But after that, he started running. Like, bro, now you just moving around. Like before, yeah, you were backing up, but you walk him into a jab or walk him into a straight and then step into the straight. After a while, you just started hauling ass, bro. And he's coming forward, throwing hard shots. He's throwing hooks, and you just hauling ass. So you have to find that. I think Shakur can find that balance of moving and punching and occasionally coming forward. Why? Because he's faster. He has fast hands and fast feet. To me, that's the difference.
Sí, pero el estilo que Eddie Reynoso le pone a Valdez favorece si Shakur come forward. So, si Valdez, porque ¿qué pasó con Robson? Valdez iba para adelante y Robson se movía y lo molestaba. Pero si en este caso, si Valdez logra que Shakur venga, la pelea va a estar inclinada para el lado de Valdez. Porque hizo lo mismo que va a hacer lo mismo que con Miguel Berchelt. Miguel Berchelt fue hacia él y Valdez se supo mover. Shakur no es Miguel Berchelt.
También, no, pero tú sabes que la diferencia es que Miguel Berchelt, he's always going to come forward. He's going to come forward the whole fight. Si Shakur siente el poder de Oscar, he'll lay off, he'll back off, he'll move around, and he has that option. Miguel doesn't have that option. He only knows how to do it one way. Come forward, throw punches. If Shakur feels the power, he don't like it, he could shell up, be defensive, and get on his back foot. Let Oscar come to him. Let him walk Oscar in the counters. So that's why I'm settled on that. Y ya yo dije, esa noche lo que va a tener mi atención, ya tú sabes, es Taylor versus Serrano. Ya, con eso I'm settled. Taylor versus Serrano is what I'm looking at, though. That's what I'm...
Sí, esa va a ser... it doesn't matter the judges, the scores, it doesn't matter. Everybody won that night.
Yeah.
Everybody won that night. Yeah, I think I don't know. It's beautiful.
I dig it. But yeah, I think I'm comfortable with Katie winning, but like I said, we'll see. It's gonna be a good fight. We've been waiting a long time for it. I'm settled. What else though? What else? Because there's some...
Luego de ver la seguridad de Katie en el press conference, after Katie beat Sharipova, I did a video on my YouTube channel saying that she was making her look back to this fight. And I think that's the completely true because Katie is, I don't know, she's completely calm on the press conference. She looks everything like, oh my god, this is the fight that I wanted for a lot of time. She's not going to... Si Serrano no se la hizo fácil para darle la pelea, Katie no va a darle lo que ella quiere, que son los 3 minutos por 2 rounds. Pero estoy completamente segura de que va a ser la Katie de 2019 la que salga a pelear esa noche.
Sí, porque what I see that Katie le gusta pelear. Like, she likes to get in there in the trenches y tener una pelea. Y si ella hace eso, posiblemente, eso le da ventaja a Serrano para usar su poder. If you make it a fight. Pero también I also see que I think that what Katie is thinking is this girl hasn't fought anybody. I think that's what Katie tells herself about Amanda, that, listen, you were around before me and you didn't fight Persoon. You didn't fight Bustos. You didn't fight Anaís Sanchez. No, did she? No, she didn't. You didn't fight Anaís Sanchez. You didn't fight Rose Vellante. You didn't fight Christine. There's a lot of people that I fought and you were here years before me and you didn't fight them. I don't have nothing. Oh, you're a southpaw and you hit hard. Natasha Jonas is a southpaw that hits hard. Oh, you throw a lot of punches. Delphine Persoon is bigger than you and she throws a lot of punches, and I fought her twice. You don't bring nothing here that I haven't seen before. And that's why I think that Katie's calm and confident, because honestly, I think she sees through Amanda. They're like, you tough with these girls that don't stand a chance. Yeah, you're real tough when you're the biggest puncher in the room. But you don't have all the advantages now. Not in this fight. Y por eso ya está calma. It's cool. You say what you want at the press conferences.
Sí, no sé. A ver, mi opinión es que la que no quería esta pelea era Amanda, sí, pero creo que más allá de la rivalidad, el favoritismo y a quién nos guste más, ¿no? O quién creamos que tenga más méritos en su carrera, eh, lo que se está buscando en esta pelea es dejar al boxeo en alto. ¿Sí o
Sí,
no?
sí.
Ya se terminó porque el papel ya está firmado.
Ujú.
Ya no hay más nada que hacer.
Yeah.
Entonces, creo que por un lado es eso y por el otro es, I don't know, Taylor quiere, desde los comienzos de su carrera, quiere dejar una marca. Y Amanda Serrano también. So, creo que esto es el último escalón para que la marca de las dos queden muy en alto. Nos guste o no, a ver, soy muy fanática de Amanda también. Me gustan mucho sus skills. Um, she's a seven division world champion. Any man, any man did someone like that. You know, she moved from super lightweight to super flyweight, and any man can do that. You know, if a man is going to do something like that, is going to ask, I don't know, um, una, una cláusula de rehidratación, miles de
Ella es
millones de
buenísima, mira,
dólares.
ella es buenísima. Like, pero yo siempre, like, the reason I'm not a fan is because while I see how good she is, right? There's fighters that are not as good as her that take more chances, that have taken more chances, I see, than her. Like, you could say that, for example, Amanda Serrano is better than Daniela Bermudez. Why? Because she beat her. But Amanda, when I think of Daniela, Daniela's the shit, bro. She went to Mexico. She beat Bobby Juarez in fucking Mexico. She moved up in weight and beat Tigresa Acuña at Tigresa's weight, not her weight. That's tough. When I think of
Yeah.
Amanda, you always have all the fucking advantages. You never, this is the first time you're going into a 50-50 fight, and you've been around since 2009. But you got fighters that, you know what, they're not perfect. Daniela's not perfect. But when they say, hey, you want to go to Puerto Rico to fight Amanda Serrano? Why not? That's why I got a soft spot. I want her to come back.
Yeah, but en este momento Amanda está haciendo lo que todas sus rivales hicieron. Subió al ligero, enfrentando a la
Sí,
campeona.
el primer título que ella ganó fue en el ligero.
Bueno, pero luego subió y bajó. No importa.
Okay. We're not gonna agree. We're not gonna agree. We're not gonna
Hey,
agree.
hey, hey. Everybody win.
You're
Everybody
right.
wins.
You're right.
You know,
Everybody wins.
she, we like her or not, she's a legend. He do, she does. All of, imagine a man moving from super lightweight to super flyweight.
Es el Gervonta Davis.
No, Gervonta no da super, super,
I'm just playing. I'm just playing. But
no, no.
look, she is a legend, and I respect that. Like, yeah, she's definitely one of the best in the world. There's no arguing that. Like, there's no arguing. Pero si tú me dices a mí, Amanda Serrano versus Delphine Persoon, I'll pick Delphine. I would pick Delphine to stop her.
I don't think, I don't
Sí,
think,
porque
la
Delphine no
línea,
aguanta puño, no aguanta puño la Delphine.
sí, no, pero lo que veo es que Amanda can outbox it boxing Dolphin Person because Amanda tiene la línea. Delfín es una peleadora que se te tira encima y te llena de golpes, pero no tiene línea, es muy desordenada. Y
Sí,
Amanda
pero
tomaría
ese
eso.
desorden, mira, yo vi la pelea con Daniela y yo creo que la pelea duró como 8 asaltos. Eso me enseña a mí que Daniela, who moved up in weight and she was landing, that's the other thing, she was landing on you. Yo estaba pensando viendo esa pelea, so if a super bantamweight, really a bantamweight, but if a super bantamweight could do that to you, what would a lightweight that does that comes forward and throws a lot, what would they do to you? Y ahí yo
Uh,
dije, ahora yo entiendo por qué tú nunca peleaste con Maiva. Ahora entiendo por qué tú nunca peleaste con Delfín. Ya entiendo. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, Daniela has a special power on her legs. On her hand, sorry. I'm tired. Daniela tiene mucho poder en los puños.
Sí.
Mucho. Acá en Argentina sabemos de dónde viene ella, sabemos su historia. Y ella tiene unas manos que Tigresa Acuña se dio cuenta de eso cuando Daniela subió de peso y peleó con ella. So, Amanda, creo que fue el tercer round o el primero, no recuerdo bien, estuvo muy apretada por Daniela, pero porque la mujer pega como un ligero o pega como un pluma, pero ella tiene la contextura de un gallo y un super gallo. La tipa pega durísimo, pero no sé qué tanto pega Katie, because ella no es
Es que
pegadora, ella
yo te voy a decir algo,
combinaciones.
mira, mucha gente dicen eso, pero esto es lo que yo sé. Esto es lo que yo sé. Tú peleaste con Gutiérrez, ella pelea con Gutiérrez. Katie la tumbó, tú no la tumbaste. Ella peleó con la brasileña esa que pega duro, volante. Ella la tumbó. Early, she dropped her. You know what I mean? She dropped her. What I see is, I've seen Amanda above 130, 135, 140. It's the power is not the same. A menos que ella, unless she stands right in front of you and doesn't move and lets you hit her, yo, the power is not the same, yo. It's not the same. Y con Amanda, it's not really, no hay contragolpe. With Katie, it's contragolpe. She can hit you with a punch you don't see, and that's why she could drop you. Amanda just throws, bro. She throws. Watch all her fights. She's just going to keep coming after you. Why did Jamie Mercado go 12 rounds? Because you throwing and keeping her on the move. You're not disguising your punches. With Katie, she can hit you with a punch you don't see. That's why she can knock you down. Amanda don't hit you with punches you don't see.
Tengo una pregunta. ¿Quién es Sawab
So what?
en el chat privado?
Déjame ver. Ese tipo está borracho. Tiene que estar borracho porque él está en Inglaterra. No, sí, es verdad. Ahora, imagínate tú. ¿Qué hora estamos ahora en América? Es fucking las 9. So, eso significa que en Inglaterra it's like 3 in the morning. No le haga caso, niña. Haga caso que...
Hey, Sawab, if you have something to say, come here and say it in my face, not on a chat. Because I
Ay, Dios
can't
mío.
stop you.
Oh, my goodness.
Not in the comments. No,
Oh,
baby.
my
You are
goodness.
not here. Come here. Talk with me. Because
Oh,
you're
my.
saying to go and learn and get educated about boxing. Why don't you have a YouTube channel and talk about boxing if you like? Come on. Stop
Oh,
being
my goodness.
I'm
not gonna have y'all arguing on here. Ladies and not gonna have y'all arguing on here. This is a family channel, a happy channel. Now I need a cigarette because I feel tense. I feel very tense. I never seen Lucia mad before. It's scary. Don't hit nobody, man. I didn't do nothing. I didn't say nothing. You know what I mean? They saying drop the link. No, we're not gonna have no arguing over here, man. Back to the point. I've never been sold on Amanda, and I feel like I've just never been sold on Amanda. I'm not like there has to be a reason. If Daniela Bermudez was willing to go to Mexico, if all these girls have been fighting each other, all of them, girls like Jackie Nava and Bobby Juarez, all these girls, they're all fighting each other. You're fighting who? You know what I mean? Like it's, and then the girls that came after you.
Okay. Okay. I think the point talking about Amanda and Katie, it is that they hasn't the marketing that they deserve.
Yeah.
They hasn't the recognize it that they deserve. So the personal situation about Amanda, she hasn't been fighting against my bad person or something like that. I think that it's not. It doesn't matter right now. I
Not
think
anymore.
not anymore
But
because
if you're wondering why my opinion of her is not as high as like Maiva went to Belgium to fight Delphine Persoon. That's like, wow, so you just don't give a shit, huh? You went to, not only is she's dangerous wherever she goes, but you actually went to her country to do that fight. That's fucking nuts, bro. There's a girl from Brooklyn, Melissa Saintville. She went to Belgium to fight Delphine Persoon. I'm like, yo, why is it that when I look at, because I had to do research in the beginning, I had to do a lot of research to find out who's who and what's what to familiar years ago, and I'm like, wow, so it seems like everybody's been fighting each other except you. All these other girls, they fight each other except you. You don't fight them. They go all over. They fight all over. Shotgun Shannon O'Connell. She fought a lot of people. I'm like, how come your resume doesn't look like hers? Wins, losses, whatever. How come your resume doesn't look like hers? And that's where I got my opinion that, you know what? The reason that you have a lot of success, a part of it, because I do think she's a great fighter. Otherwise, I wouldn't want to see the fucking fight. She's a great fighter. But a part of the success you have is you didn't take the chances that they took. A lot of those girls took a lot of chances, and that's why they have losses.
yeah, but now she took Katie's fight.
Yeah, it only took $1 million, Lucia. It only took $1 million.
She deserved less.
No, but I'm just saying. No, you know what I mean? Don't turn it around on me. Hold on. All I'm saying.
They deserve it. They deserve
I'm not
it.
saying they don't deserve it.
Deserve it. That $1 million.
Look, they deserve it. I agree. They deserve it. But all I'm saying is que cuando había mujeres que they took that fight and they weren't asking for $1 million, but they took the fight. You wanted that $1 million because y tú lo dijiste. You said it first in this show. Amanda didn't want that fight. Katie wanted that fight. From the moment she turned pro, she said, I want that fight.
Yes, but my point is another. I'm trying to show another point on this chapter. Women's boxing deserve all of the credit. It doesn't matter if Amanda was been avoiding Katie. She took the fight right now. I think it's the best moment to take this fight because, for example, in 2019, this was going to be an main event in Madison Square Garden.
You're right.
No.
You're right.
No. So it doesn't matter what Amanda did in the past.
No, but no.
Right now.
Como tú? All right, look. Let me say this.
Hey, but we have the fight. We have the fight.
I'm not complaining, though. I'm just saying. I'm not complaining. All right, let me read the super chat. Mario Guzman dice, Alicia Baumgartner knocks out Amanda at 130 and 135. That'd be a hell of a fight. That would be a hell of a fight.
Sí sería a hell of the fight, but I don't think that Alicia can knock her out.
Libra por libra, I do feel she's a stronger puncher. The question is she a better boxer? Because that's what it's gonna come down to. Amanda tampoco es pendeja. Ella es fuertecita. She could take a point. Ella es fuertecita. Porque yo vi una pelea con una mexicana that she was fighting. I forgot what the girl's name was.
Rivas.
She was piecing the shit out of Amanda. And I was like, yo, she getting hit up. Right, yo.
Rosita Rivas.
Yeah, she was. You don't usually see Amanda get hit that much. So ella tiene quijada, ella aguanta puño. So that would be a very, very interesting fight. Pero unfortunately, yo no me imagino que esa pelea va a pasar. It won't. That will remain a fantasy.
Okay. Sería una pelea con unos estilos increíbles. Sí. An amazing style fight.
Sí.
But Alicia, okay, in the boxing world, to all of the people that didn't know her right now because she knocked out Terry Harper.
Mm-hmm.
But a fight between Alicia and Amanda has no sense.
No, eso no es verdad. Yo te voy a decir, yo estoy aquí y yo lo que voy a decir es si, and I'm telling you the truth. If you said, just beyond Katie Taylor, whatever happens, even if Amanda loses, even if she were to lose, esa pelea con Alicia and Amanda does business. Yeah, it does a lot of business. If if Amanda loses to Katie, oh, what do I do now? If Eddie Hearn was to say, yo, look, here's $800,000 or here's $500,000, whatever it takes to get her in the ring. If you put Amanda Serrano versus Alicia Baumgartner on TV, oh yeah, that shit does. Yeah, that shit does business. Believe it.
Okay, I love Alicia. She's a really good fighter, and she comes to fight. It doesn't matter what happened. But for example, she's not in. She hasn't the same marketing as Katie has, for example, or as the film person has. Alicia and Michaela Mayer are in this level of marketing. Katie, Amanda, film person are in another level. That's what I think that fight has no sense.
Ok, yo te voy a decir, yo no estoy hablando ahora, porque ya se sabe que una pelea así no va a pasar ahora, porque Amanda está peleando con Katie. Pero tú le das un año, por ejemplo, que ok, ya Alicia peleó 2 o 3 veces, defendió su título. En ese momento, the marketing and the money will be there, porque ese knockout de Terry Harper, that shit went viral. Like that shit, when she knocked out, you couldn't go nowhere and not see that shit. Like it was everywhere. Con eso ya se ve que, mira, si ella pelea con Yumi Choi y la noquea así, en esa misma manera, that she's... Oye, eso va a pasar así porque Yumi Choi, she likes to fight in the phone booth. Like she's tall for super featherweight. She's a tall super featherweight, but she doesn't use it. She likes to be inside. She likes to fight inside, like even though she's tall, she doesn't have to, but that's how she fights. Y con eso yo veo, if you do that fight with her and Alicia will knock her out, knock her smooth out.
Another point is she has never fight out of Japón, Corea.
Sí, es verdad. Ella no, sí. Una pelea, con Matchroom, una.
Pero no más.
That's it.
No, an easy fight in super featherweight is Hugh Choi. The easy fight, yes, because maybe she hasn't fought against someone with a name. Sorry, but she hasn't. So,
who? Hugh Choi, ¿verdad?
Yeah, Hugh Choi. She hasn't fought against someone who has a big name or something like that. But you can say that she can punch, but she has been punching someone who is nobody. So
well, didn't unless I'm mistaken, one of the few names she has on her resume, I think, and I have to check, is Shannon O'Connell. One of them.
Okay. That's Shannon O'Connell has been fighting in Bantamweight, super Bantamweight, then she moved up to super featherweight.
Sí, pero Alicia, también recuerda que unless I'm mistaken, Hyun-Mi Choi is a 2-weight champion. She moved up from where the fuck did she move up? Because she wasn't she moved up from featherweight, so
sí.
You know what I mean?
Lo que a mí me sorprende es por qué ella está peleando por títulos del mundo desde su primer pelea.
Oportunidad.
Pero es...
I mean like, bro, it's like, I think they just wanted to put the belt in someone's hands to get started. That's what it seems like, porque mira lo que pasó con Clarissa en el 154. Su primera pelea, 2 títulos vacant.
Sí, pero Clarissa has an amazing background, amateur background.
Yo sé, pero sin embargo es lo mismo que they're giving. They might as well they might as well mail you the belt. They might as well. They might as well. Being real. Let me get a Big Mac.
Oh my God. I don't know.
Es que los perros te están diciendo que mira, Amanda Serrano, ella es ok, pero te pase.
Hey, stop hating. We have the
No,
fight.
you're right. I must stop. You're right, because you know what? We do have the fight, and I don't need to hate. I don't need to be mad. We have the fight.
We have the fight.
We
We
have
have
the
the
fight.
fucking fight. Madison Square Garden main event. She did it.
All right, let me post the link for the guys because I know they want to join the chat, and I want to smoke a cigarette.
This is the boxing dev show.
No, because Boxing Dev is one of the few people that I could talk to about the women's side of the sport because she knows it just as much, if not better, than I do. Most of the people, they ask me about it, but they don't know it themselves. She's one of the few people that actually knows the sport that we can actually have a real conversation about it.
Thank you so much. Because someone here was saying that I am not knowledge, that I have no knowledge about this.
Hi, Jay, what's good?
What's goody? What's good, Boxing Dev? How are you this evening? You good? How you doing?
Thank you so
What's
much.
up, guys? How you doing tonight?
Yeah,
what's
Mike.
going
same
on?
here. And you?
Shout out to Boxing Dev. How you doing, Dev?
Sorry?
Shout out to Boxing Dev. How you doing, Dev?
I'm good, thank you.
Cool.
I'm gonna ask you guys about the Canelo situation and what y'all think about that. Is there anything left to be said about the situation with Canelo? Is there anything we haven't said already?
No. By the way, Julius, in case you weren't aware, Mike Coppinger posted on Twitter that Canelo did accept the Canelo Triple G deal. They just, I mean, nothing's official yet, but that's where he's leaning.
I saw, and
Yeah.
I mean, I figured that. I kind of
Yeah.
figured that.
Yeah.
Do you? I'm gonna start with Lucia, then pass it around.
Okay.
Lucia, do you find it suspicious that Mike Coppinger said that deal the PBC offered Canelo was 10 days ago? If it was 10 days ago, why are we just now hearing about it?
Oh my God. Oh my God. I don't know what to say.
Okay. I'm gonna pass it to Jay. Jay, if the deal was from 10 days ago, why are we just now hearing about it?
Well, if the rumors prove true and he did choose Triple G in the Bivol to fight, it's because he didn't pick the PBC deal.
Ah, no, you know what? That makes sense. That the reason that he's releasing that information is out of spite. I
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah, it's out of malicious intent, probably just a way to get back at his ass. That's all. But
All
I
right.
mean, just I just right quick. My take is like I really don't care which he chose because depending on which deal he chose, I didn't care because like he chooses PBC for me. I would like him to expose the pseudo boogeymen of 160 and 168 by beating the brakes off them. Then if he chose the matchroom and triple, if he chose the matchroom deal, B-ball, that's a risk. I see that as a 50-50 fight. He stands a high chance of losing B-ball, and if he beats him, he could fight Triple G to find out if somebody gets dropped and knocked out this time. Boom. So I was good with either one based on those.
JBN, I haven't gotten a chance to speak to JBN too much, so I got a separate set of questions for JBN. JBN, who is it that you wanted to see Canelo Alvarez fight the most?
Honestly, man, I did want to see him fight Charlo,
Mm-hmm.
just to shut up the whole narrative of he's ducking Charlo and Charlo this and Charlo that. And it would have been fun to see him get knocked the fuck out. But like you say, you can't really complain because we gotta pay either way,
Mm-hmm.
whoever he fights, and all those guys are interchangeable because neither one of them have done anything to to like que se hagan ver como que like they're the one, you know,
Mhm.
and neither one of them. So, but in my preference, I would prefer him fight Charlo, just like I said, to stop the narrative. But Bebo is a harder fight. Triple G, I'm cool with that. And yeah, I mean, I agree with Jay on the Mike Coppinger thing. That you know, we know Mike Coppinger is a PBC fanboy, so it's a big coincidence that the news has spread around 10 days later that he rejected the offer. And when he tweeted, it says upwards of $100 million. So it's not. It didn't say that he received $100 million. It's upwards of $100 million. So it could be close to 100, but it might not even be 100. You know.
We have Jared Smith. Before I pass it to Drew, we got Jared Smith, race baiting troll. I don't know what I don't know what I'm even supposed to say to that dumb shit. Because it's tired, bro. It's
Here we go.
addressing that dumb shit is tired, bro. Like, bro, you know why you really mad? I'm gonna tell you why you really mad.
No,
Wait, let me do it. You mad
Okay.
that nobody gives a fuck about Charlo. That's what you really mad at. Nobody gives a fuck about Charlo, bro. Nobody. Wait, let me do it. Nobody. Not Canelo. Not the boxing fans. And guess what? It's not just Charlo. They don't give a fuck about David either. So why don't they just fucking fight?
And let me add to
True.
that. Let me add to that. We've seen what Charlo has said. Charlo don't give a fuck about race. So these fools giving a fuck about that shit when someone else don't give a fuck about that shit is just hilarious. But Charlo's never on code though. Remember, guys, he's not on code.
Exactly.
Julius, wait a minute.
Go ahead, Leo.
I think that comment is supposed to be a joke.
Oh
Nothing
shit!
else.
I thought I didn't even know because look, tensions are at an all-time high. They are at an all-time high. It's very hard for me to distinguish what's going on. No. Look. It's for real. He's for real. Well, I'm gonna shoot him the link so he could tell me that shit. I'm gonna shoot him the link.
Watch him not get on. He ain't gonna get on.
Oh,
He's
maybe he
gonna-
will.
And if he gets on y'all, let's all shut up. Let Jules ether
Yeah,
him.
of course. Of
It's
course.
not a joke.
He finna jump out the window as soon as you send that link.
Yeah, like, well, why not?
Come on, Jairus. We waiting.
Because this is easy fucking work. This is easy work.
I need
Canelo
Jules.
Roy
Jules, you
boxing.
need to add that audio clip of Doc Holliday saying, "I'm your Huckleberry."
Yeah. I mean, shit.
You need to incorporate that.
I need to incorporate that into the relay. Just click the link, Jairus. You got a lot on your mind. We could talk about it. I got time.
Hold on, let me get my popcorn right quick. Give me a second.
And
I got time, Jairus.
Canelo's saving boxing. He's the only one attracting casual fans.
Jules gonna do. Jules
pretty
gonna
much
do
the only
his
one
version of
attracting
Coach.
casual fans.
Jules gonna do his version of Coach Malachi. Toe tag and body bag.
Nah, because I'm wondering, how does a guy who put 70,000 people in seats, put 70,000 asses, over 70,000 asses, and 70,000 seats, how is he ruining boxing?
Didn't he have more attendance than the Super Bowl?
Yes, they did.
Didn't he break the indoor attendance record? He broke the record, right?
He broke the fucking indoor attendance record, bro.
The
He had
thing
more
is,
people than the
and
Super Bowl.
me and Jules go say this constantly. These American fans are so xenophobic. They think boxing only exists to cater to their fan base.
Yeah,
And it's a big world out there. Nobody gives a shit about Charlo outside of maybe Houston and a few other pockets.
Drew, how many
fans
years?
in this country.
How many years I said that Ryota Murata is worth 10 Charlos in Japan? He's worth 10 Charlos, bro. Charlo could go his whole career and never put up the kind of numbers that he put up fighting fucking Blandamura. Like, you could fight that same Blandamura here in America. Ain't nobody gonna give a fuck, bro. And in this world, I'm sorry to tell you this, in case you didn't know, in this world, money talks. What now you have to ask yourself, well, why don't he got more money? Because he don't be in fights people want to see. That's why. It's simple. It's simple, bro. It's always been simple.
Why I'll go further, Jules. Why ain't none of these Saudi dudes inviting any of the PBC fighters to go over there and try to make big money and put on their fights for them?
Exactly.
They're inviting Usyk, they're inviting Crawford. Canelo's over there golfing with A-list celebrities at the Pebble Beach Pro-Am. We know what it is.
Come on, man. Click the link, bro. Give me a history lesson, Jared. Stop being a chicken shit, bro. Come on. I'm going to post it again. I posted it again. Click the link, bro. Click the link.
By the way, Jules, I'm not sure how many people you got on Sawab is in the back. Just he just wanted me to let you
Yeah,
know.
but Sawab was misbehaving himself with Lucia, and she left because of what he was saying in the private chat.
Oh, was he? Oh, snaps. I didn't look at all. Oh, for sure. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why he kept attacking her. I don't know what that's about.
Damn. Okay.
I'm gonna have to apologize to Lucia for that because I don't understand why somebody would do that. But yeah, click the link, Jared. Jairus, you could give me a history lesson about the history of whatever the fuck it is you're talking about. Because we're not talking about history at the end of the day. We're talking about today. We're talking about Jermall Charlo. That's what we're talking about. We ain't talking about history.
Told you he wouldn't do it.
You know what I'm saying? Well, motherfuckers always want to get all historical and shit about present day fighters. I ain't talking about fucking Mike Tyson because we know. Jermall Charlo ain't no Mike Tyson. You know what I mean?
Those are the types that want to be professional victims, and I can't have debates with them because if they want to relitigate history, what I'm saying is if they want to relitigate history only up till 400 years ago, let's do all the fucking history, bro. You're dealing with a scholar that has a master's degree and a minor in history.
That's the thing, right? This the thing. We're here to talk about boxing, and more specifically, we're here to talk about present day boxing. So politics, tribalism, and all those taboo subjects, they don't necessarily have a place here. I'm not one of these hack YouTube channels that uses race politics to make money off videos. I think that that's despicable. You won't see me doing that, and you won't see me profiteering off that. That's why I stay away from that subject matter. All we're here to talk about is boxing. So if you're trying to tell me that Jermall Charlo is this special fucking fighter, click the fucking link. Because I'll embarrass you and make money in real time.
He's an art man shill. I just read his comment. Get me someone with a wrench. Get him to throw him in the fucking bathroom like mush on Bronx Tale.
Come on. So click the if I got cooked, then come cook me.
Come on, Jairus. Bring it, bro.
It should be easy.
We ain't gonna say nothing.
We ain't gonna talk.
If you want to feel more comfortable, I'll kick everybody off the panel. It'll just be me and you.
Yeah, I see that red Levi's hoodie. Some new threads over there.
Nah, this is old shit. This shit is. I just don't wear it, so it look new.
He's changing between segments now. You guys see it?
I've been wearing this for a long time.
Wait a minute. Oh wait, Jairus just said none of y'all threw a punch in your life. Okay, I've been in fights before, my man. I thought
ain't nobody. Listen. Let me champ this shit. Let me champ this shit. Nobody care about the fight you had on the 2 train. Nobody care about that. You're not no boxer. Don't nobody give a fuck about your life. I know you don't want to hear that, but nobody give a fuck who you punched on your block. Nobody care about you, bro. Click the link. Oh, pussified ass shit.
TikTok.
Click the link, bro.
Wait.
So you saying you ain't scared of some fist fights, but you scared to click a link?
You even got to show your face.
Yeah, B. We don't got to know how ugly you are in real life. Click the link.
Esos güeyes nomás hacen las víctimas, bro. I hate that they just act like.
Jairus, I don't need to come to Dallas.
Sí, pero también eso son vainas de pendejo. Y hay toda clase de pendejo in every corner of the world. Ese tipo un pendejo. ¿Cómo tú vas a decir que no, ustedes no tiran puño? Pendejo, you don't even want to click a link. Palomo, bultero. Cállate. You a t-shirt, bro. You a t-shirt.
You train fighters, Jairus. How come I never seen you in the LA circuit at the local club shows? Nobody. I don't know who you are.
You train,
and
bro?
I live in the hub. I live in the hub of boxing in America, Jairus. I live in LA.
Jairus, show me somebody you train, bro. Come on, click the link, bro. Show me some footage, bro. Who you train, bro?
TikTok.
You train Billy Blanks? What the hell?
You train Butterbean.
Be training guys, yo. Let me see what he said.
I'll take your girl. My girl wouldn't want your ass. How about that?
Come on, B. Come on. Yeah. Click the link, bro. Let's show me how ugly you are, bro. I bet you. Nah, I'm gonna tell you what. I'm gonna do the Cosby reverse psychology shit. I bet you won't click the link. I bet you won't. And you know why you won't click the link? because you don't be training shit and you don't be fighting shit. You a fucking nerd. You don't be doing nothing to nobody, bro. You sitting in your house watching me. That's what you doing. Stop me when I tell a lie. Ain't you watching me?
Told you. Didn't I say he wouldn't click? Told you
You're not gonna click that shit, bro. You ain't gonna click that shit. But stop that shit, yo.
Jules, he's here because he wants to know your opinion.
Basically, otherwise, why the fuck would he be here?
I wonder how many people hate watch the relay.
Bro, I don't know, but I think it's a lot because I'm gonna tell you something. I never discussed my metrics, but my numbers are up every month. Not every so often. They go up every month. My subscription count goes up every month. It's a steady trend. So I think I got a lot of people hate watching, if I'm being honest.
And like Jake Paul, the fellow Capricorns love that shit.
Come on, Jarvis. Like, you doing mad talking for a fist fighting street fight trainer. You sure doing a lot of talking, bro. Come on, click that link, bro. I done posted that shit like 5 times, bro.
Julius, can we talk about boxing?
I want to talk about how Jarvis. I want to talk about how Jarvis is street fight master that's scared to click a link.
Ese vato está cagado. Ese güey no va a hacer nada.
The funny thing about
Ese güey no va a hacer nada, bro.
Y'all, you know the funny thing about dudes like Janice, whatever his name is.
Janice.
They wouldn't make it. Janice wouldn't make it alive out of the Eastern Bloc or them cartel cities in Mexico.
Bro, Janice think.
But he a tough guy.
Bro, Janice think because he on Section 8 that make him tough.
He would have never made it. He wouldn't have made it out of Triple G's hood.
I ain't worried about Triple G. Yo, listen, B. Just because you ain't come. Listen, Janice Dickinson. Just because you was broke, that don't mean you tough, bro. That just means you was broke. And you probably still broke.
It's the link. It's the link. It's the link versus Jarvis. The link is winning on points right now.
Yo, the funny shit about a lot of motherfuckers, right, is they really believe this shit. They really believe that because they was broke, that somehow that's just like a badge of honor, bro. That mean your mommy and your daddy ain't care enough about you to get you out that situation. That's what that really
your
means.
Bloodline is fucking.
Hey man, that's true.
That's indicative of your bloodline.
I've been broke. I don't like that shit one bit.
No. And here's the thing, like people think rich people are soft. Rich people are some of the most ruthless, fucking vile motherfuckers.
Yep, that's how they're rich.
And that's how they rich.
Look. We all come. I know for a fact. Everybody on this panel come from a poor block, right? The differences between like me and a guy like Genesis, I make sure my kids don't get raised on no poor ass block. Janice, bro, you probably still live in the proximity of where you was raised, bro. You can't talk to me. You can't talk to me, bro. We are not the same, bro. I don't need to lay guilt trips for people to feel sorry for me, bro. You need to do that. I don't need to do that.
By the way, Jules, so I mentioned that he's sorry and he would like a chance to apologize to Boxing Div.
Well, you gotta go to her and do that, bro, because she basically left because you kept saying stuff in the private chat. I don't know why you did that, bro.
On Twitter, right? So you can go on Twitter and get at her.
But Dev has a channel.
Yeah, Dev has a channel.
What's the name of her channel?
Boxing Dev. It's literally the same. Yeah.
I'm subscribed to it.
Now I got a serious question for Jules and the panel.
Mm-hmm.
Where the fuck is that 100 million coming from?
Where is that 100 million coming from?
Yo, listen. That's probably why he didn't take it, because it's like, bro. The other thing that's not being said, right? We always discuss what's in the news, but the reality of it is there is a lot of it that is not in the news. Canelo has dealt with these people before. You understand? Like, he dealt with them before. His last fight, he did business with them. There's gonna be things that he knows that we don't know.
That's true.
I said on Twitter, there was a guy, there was a guy on Twitter, and we was talking about the PBC. This was earlier today. And I said that, look at what Broner said. He said a lot of those guys is getting jerked. And the dude was like, oh, you using Broner as a reference. that tell me, like, bro, do you know more about the PBC than Broner? Do you fight for the PBC? You know what I mean? Like, how you gonna act like you know more about this shit than him?
That, and I
Nah.
think I think Canelo's like, man, I'm not going over there to hear Floyd run his mouth because I'll slap him. So y'all
No,
figure
that's
y'all
Exactly.
shit out.
Exactly.
Maybe
Nah, I
that's
mean,
something
nah, I mean
too.
that's the other shit that like they don't realize that the opportunity he has gotten to a point commercially to where the opportunity is yours, not mine. I'm big business, and you know that. That's why you got to put up that kind of money to fuck with me, because I'm big business, and I'm
But
doing you a
Canelo has
favor.
officially Canelo. Go ahead, Jules.
I'm doing you a
Like I'm saying,
favor.
Canelo has officially crossed over.
Yeah,
He's crossed over to all them golf tournaments, and he's really like a A-list celebrity now.
I'm gonna give you an example. When Anthony Joshua signed his multi-fight deal with Sky Sports, multi-fight deal, that's like 4 or 5 fights, right? When he signed that deal, that was a deal that was worth $100 million. That's what you motherfuckers gotta put up for me to do 2 fights, because that's where he's at. The opportunity is yours, not mine. The market has spoken. The market dictates who's a star and who isn't. Your two boys, they not stars. David is not a star, unfortunately. Neither is Jamal, unfortunately. The market has spoken. You put Jamal on pay-per-view. It didn't sell, bro. And it wasn't even a bad card. That's the worst part. I bought it because
So did I.
it wasn't a bad card. But people didn't
They're
buy
not
it,
even
bro.
They're not even attractions, local attractions in their own fucking cities.
And it's not exclusive to Maul and David. It's all their guys, bro. A lot of their guys is just dead weight, cold product. You put Keith Thurman thinking he a star and all of this extra shit. Bro, motherfuckers don't even want to give a blurb about what your pay-per-view did, because we all know it didn't sell. Who the fuck bought that shit?
They had guys that they have or had guys that had potential to be stars. Like if Jamal Charlo and Gervonta Davis fought the fights that they needed, I feel like they could have been stars because they do have like that look and demeanor, but they just kept protecting them and putting them in shitty ass fights. So that's why nobody cares about them no
I
more. But I
agree.
feel like
Hey,
they
yo, hey,
would,
yo,
like they did have the potential to be a superstar.
No, I agree with you 100%. In the very beginning, it was a good, solid stable of fighters. In the very beginning, you had Danny Garcia, Keith Thurman, Sean Porter, the Charlo brothers as a package. You had a lot of good fighters in the beginning. But remember whose fighters those were before that. Those were Golden Boy fighters before that. That's what they were. That's why they had that potential. They had someone else and they were under a different banner. As soon as they got under that banner, the one they're under now, the situation did change, and they changed because they don't keep those guys busy enough. They don't groom them the way that fighters are supposed to be groomed. If you got a guy that's willing to pay you $7 million to fight Demetrius Andre, you take it. If they're willing to pay you $8 million to fight fucking Tevin Farmer, you fucking take it, bro. Now you sitting here trying to convince the world that Eddie Hearn's money is not real. Meanwhile, Mikey Garcia is counting that money, buying sports cars with that money, sitting out for a year because he doesn't have to fight. He made $7 million fighting Jesse Vargas. He don't have to fight. While you clowns are trying to come, the offer wasn't real. The money, yeah, right, motherfucker. And why Mikey got $7 million for Vargas? You didn't even get that shit for Sergey.
Danny
and you
got
know what?
Danny
You
got
know, like
15
in
for
that fight,
Canelo.
in that fight, like in let me see, in Chocolatito versus your fight was on the undercard. That was the best fight on the card,
Bruh.
but better than Vargas versus Garcia.
The shit boxing in America has become a clown show where the focus is not even the fights, so much explaining why the fights are not happening. In every other boxing scene in the world, it's about the fights. The UK, Mexico, parts of Central America, Russia, it's about the fights. In America, the focus is why are people not fighting? You got guys that wake up every morning and log into their Twitter to defend fighters that don't fight. That is literally their idea of boxing. Defending fighters that don't fight over fights that don't happen. Like I wanted Devin to fight for Undisputed, but I said it in November, and the video is up. I said it in November. It's gonna come down to Vasyl Lomachenko and Devin Haney. And you tell me, pose the question in the video, out of those two guys, who do you think is more likely to go to Australia? No fuss, no muss.
We all know the answer.
Loma.
Of course.
Loma got paid $800,000 to fight Richard Comey.
How much you get for that?
800
800,000.
G's.
Oh shit! Wow.
Yeah.
800.
I even know the persons for that fight. Oh, that's how much you got?
Yeah, he got
Yeah.
under $1 million for that fight. Now, whatever he got via his sponsors, we not gonna know. But
Yeah.
the reported purse was 800,000.
He don't care. He don't give a shit. It's like nah. He just did what he had to do. That's it.
Because that's how it's supposed to be, bro.
When it comes to Devin, he wants an arm and a leg. He wants
Well,
to do this.
well,
He
this
wants
the
to do
thing.
that.
I don't.
Yeah.
The other thing about Devin's situation is I don't want to jump to conclusions because I know that there's an element of this that none of us know. We don't know what's going on behind the curtain. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes. But what I do know is I saw Bill Haney talking about, nah, let's do the fight outside Australia. What you mean do the fight outside Australia, bro? That's where George wants to fight.
Oh,
You know what?
man.
You know what? As soon as he said that, that's when I got the strong. This fight ain't happening. This fight ain't gonna happen.
Bro,
Not just
yesterday
that.
he was on the Boxing Voice and he was all over the place, man. Like, I just wanted to know what exactly that Lou was offering him, or what Lou considered a low ball offer from Eddie, and he just kept going on. Oh, Salido, oh he lost 2 fights, and he's a great fighter, but look, Devin Haney is a more. Listen, man, no more changing narrative, none of this stuff, man. You got to take the fight when the opportunity presents itself.
Yeah.
That's it.
Julius,
Let me say this before I pass it to Leo. For all the guys on social media, because social media is very deceptive, it makes people think that their opinions matter more than what they do. And that's not exclusive to them. That also applies to me. The truth is, what I say doesn't matter, and what they say doesn't matter. What matters is, for as much as you like to bring up that he lost to Salido, he still has more fans than your favorite fighter. That's the only thing that matters. For you saying that Teofimo Lopez, who mic is fucked up? For you telling me that Teofimo Lopez beat him, guess what? I did a poll earlier today. Who's the more dangerous opponent for George Kambosos? I did the poll over 2 different social media platforms, and I got the same answer both times. All this narrative shit is some American shit. That is America's idea of boxing right now, is narratives and bullshit. Dog, this is the fight game. People want to see fights. If you're not willing to sacrifice for the opportunity of fighting George, because that's the truth that don't nobody want to say. It's an opportunity for Devin, not for George. It's an opportunity for Devin. All right? Now, you either going to capitalize on it or you not. If you didn't, I'm not going to feel sorry for you.
I mean, how the negotiations broke down, it's still a mystery to me. So I'm just gonna assume that Kambosos just wanted Lomachenko for the challenge. That's just it.
I'm going to assume, if we're going to get into assumption, right? The reason that I feel that Loma became the front runner is because not only was Loma willing to acquiesce to being the B-side in every facet, but he did it sooner. Because I feel that somewhere in between the start of negotiations and now, I feel like somebody on Haney's side fucked it up. I never saw Egis Klimas or Vasyl Lomachenko or Bob Arum saying we need to do the fight outside Australia. I saw all 3 saying he'll go to Australia. He don't care. We'll do whatever we got to do that fight. That's all I saw. And there was no arguing. There was no back and forth. There was none of that. Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But with Devin, you saw week after week that Bill's saying this and George is saying that and Devin is saying, it's like, bro, it's the same old shit.
Julius, do you think this is just I'm talking about the managers of Kambosos, Loma, and Devin Haney. This is just a chicken game. I mean, Devin Haney promoter says, okay, Kambosos, you have 2 options. You can fight this Ukrainian motherfucker that wants to go to Australia to take your belts, you can do that. Or you can fight Devin Haney, a fighter you have a better chance to defeat. But if you want that fight, you have to acquiesce
Mm-hmm.
to some of our demands. But if you don't want to do that, you can fight Loma and lose. But in this game, I think Loma just beat him to the punch.
Yeah. I mean, if this is just speculation, and I find it important to make this distinction. This is just what I think. I believe that from the beginning, Lomachenko was willing to sacrifice. Why do I think that? Because he fought Lopez in the bubble. Loma and everybody knows that fight would have generated more money in front of an audience. But in spite of that, he still fought him in the bubble without the extra money. I feel if the shoe was on the other foot, Lopez wouldn't have did that. Haney and the Haneys, they wouldn't have did that. Loma's that type of dude, and he has that kind of manager. And now we here for the fights, bro. We ain't here for the fuckery. We ain't here for the bullshit. Y'all here for the bullshit. You doing the rounds on all these podcasts trying to run this spin. The paying public, the people with money, they don't care about what you're talking about. The people on the internet might care, but they not the paying public. And that's what everybody's missing. You think all the boxing fans in the world are on Twitter? All of them? You think all the guys that go to fights, you think all of them are on Twitter? No, they're not. Twitter is not the real world. YouTube, to an extent, is an extension of the real world, but it's not all of it. You think that because a guy does a video, Loma ain't shit, let that shit get 500,000 views. You think that 500,000 people, all 500,000, that's the paying public? No. Those are the people that sit at home and watch YouTube videos. That's who that is. Now, some of them, of course, are the paying public. But this is the misconception. Canelo Alvarez is a hot topic right now. I'm going to give y'all an example of metrics. If you do a Canelo Alvarez video right now, unbeknownst to most, that don't have YouTube channels of their own, you get more money. You get better ads in your YouTube videos. He's a hot topic right now. I know that because I have a YouTube channel. I check the metrics. Canelo Alvarez videos get more hits faster, and the commercials shown literally get you more money. He's a hot topic. Other YouTube content creators are going to know this. If they're smart, they'll know this, that every video doesn't make you the same money. Some subjects are trending, and the ones that are trending, they get you more money. Now, you could do a Canelo hate video like a lot of these guys do. It's going to get a lot of hits. But your videos are for people that don't pay for boxing. How do I know? The people that pay for boxing are the people who pay for Canelo's fights. And Canelo's fights do better numbers than everybody else's fights in America. So whoever you're talking to, they don't matter.
The thing is this, you could, like, you called it from day one, Jules. The fact that Devin didn't have an initial offer ready the night after the Lopez fight, and then the shit with his dad, they either didn't want to go to Australia or they wanted more than the $3 million he's getting. And no.
It could have been the money. It could have. We heard so many things, Drew.
It's a combination because also, Jules, you think DAZN wants to put up that money if he's not locked in?
And he's not even a fighter that they have under. That's thank you. Because George, everybody only looks at one side, and I look at both sides. Why did George say to Devin, your broadcaster is not behind you? Why did he say that? Nobody's gonna ask.
I noticed that.
You know, he said that, and I'm like, it gotta be a reason. It gotta be a fucking reason that he said that shit, though. Like, you know, fuck taking sides. It has to be a reason that he said that shit.
And you saw what his last fight did. Did you see how empty that stadium was? The arena. It was pretty empty. There was like 5,000 people there. And most of those fans were Jojo Diaz fans. Did you notice that? Most of those fans were Jojo Diaz fans.
This is what I'm trying to say. Like, motherfuckers think everything on the internet, you know, because these arguments and these conversations that we have, they're all happening on the internet. They're not happening in real time in the real world. In the real world, the reality is, no, Devin is not a star. That doesn't make him a bad fighter, but he's not a star. So you got to be real with yourself. The opportunity here is not George's opportunity. It's my opportunity. And if I don't seize it, it is what it is.
I mean, Jules, how many times did you say like countlessly like Devin better act fat because like it's only a matter of time before the WBO orders the fight, and guess what?
Can I say one thing?
They have. Too late. Go ahead. Yeah,
So I think it's actually both that Devin doesn't want to go to Australia, and also he wants too much money because they probably told him this. Look, we can have it in Australia. You're gonna get more money because the fight is worth more over there. We can have it here in America, but we ain't gonna pay you what you want because you don't bring fans like that. And George is kind of new here, so it's here, but you're gonna take a pay cut, and because we gotta pay George more, you're gonna get less.
Real shit. I mean, think about it. This you know that JBN, that Devin is not a ticket seller, and he's not a pay-per-view guy. Like, we all know that, and it's not a knock on him. It's not a knock on him personally, because you know what? The majority of boxers in America are not big ticket sellers and big pay-per-view attractions. But you can reverse engineer this to see what happened. That, like, yo, dog, what you want for this fight, that's not realistic, bro. You want a lot, and that's not real. We're not gonna overpay you anymore. You know, like, we're not gonna do that anymore. So you're gonna do it at this price, or you're not gonna do it.
And Jules, you could corroborate this.
If you want more money, go to Australia.
I think all the power brokers in the game right now in America, they might not be working together with each other to make the fights, but they're working together to reset the market.
They're trying to,
and tell these fighters like, nah, Al Heyman's like, you want that money, Keith? Go put it on pay-per-view.
Yeah,
that's all of them. Aram, even DAZN's pulling back with Hearn. Only one getting guaranteed money is Canelo and AJ
now,
and Triple G.
Can I chime in real quick? Could there be a theory that maybe Haney isn't vaccinated? Because remember Novak Djokovic, the tennis player, he couldn't compete in the Australian Open.
Yeah, I remember that. They wouldn't let him into the country.
Yeah, maybe this. I don't know. I'm not denying.
No,
it.
You're on something right there, because if you listen to the interview with Egas, he's like, we're vaccinated, the whole team, no problem. He made sure to say that.
Let me read
Egas' interview again.
Let me read the super chats, because I got two. Some fighters are about money, others are about legacy. Fights with Benavidez and Charlo are neither. You are 100. True. Which one of them fights is a bigger money fight than Golovkin? Which one?
That's still a marketable fight, even though Golovkin is going to be 40 years old.
And
I mean, plus, there's still that level of intrigue.
If Canelo decided to go to the UK or Russia to fight Bivol, that's a bigger fight than over there than fighting Charlo here.
Agreed. And that's and let me say this. America as a country, as a whole, and I'm not talking about just one specific group of people. It's all over the place. This victim feel sorry for me mentality. Listen, if you want this fighter to be a star so bad that you get up every morning and log into your social media account to argue on the behalf of this fighter, save yourself the trouble and simply buy his fucking fight. That does a lot more than what you're doing.
I think some of these PVC fighters are like cryptocurrency, because cryptocurrency doesn't have any value per se. It's about what people makes about it.
Yes.
That's Bitcoin. But you have a certain number of people like Bitcoin, because Bitcoin uses the same technology that all of those cryptocurrencies, the same blockchain technology. But why is Bitcoin so popular? Because people prefers Bitcoin.
Yep.
And these people are trying to make the same thing with these fighters. Just talk about the fighter to make him real, to increase his value.
Talk it up.
Talk it out.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
They forgot. I think it was Steve Kim that said this earlier today, and he was being sarcastic that the best way to make a fighter popular is with fights. Yes, fucking fighters fight. You want to create interest off of social media drama, off of name association, off of art. You want to do everything but the fucking fights.
To them, Canelo has to do the most just to appear valuable to them. But yet they don't look to their favorite fighter and say, fight these guys that are in close proximity. Build your name up, build your market value before you get the Canelo fight.
The
I keep
formula.
hearing that this like okay, Charlo and Benavidez are the more marketable fight. Okay, how?
Where?
What fights?
Based on what?
Exactly.
I mean, let's imagine like a hypothetical scenario right here, right? Let's just say like you take one of the so-called four kings, you know, lightweight, Devin, Tio, Ryan, and Tank. Let's say Devin had an underrated run and beat all those guys, all of them. That would be the push he needed right there. That would make him star. Would you agree?
No, yeah. I mean, that's see, this is like it's not complicated. You have to create interest and excitement. And what's lost is that nobody really wants to gamble because these guys don't believe in their product. Like Aegis Climbers, he believes in his fighters. He believes in Usyk. He believes in Loma. He believes in them. So he's willing to gamble. Like, yeah, we'll give up home field advantage or we'll go into hostile territory because we believe in our guy and he believes in himself. The disconnect is that there's a lot of teams that don't believe in them. They don't believe in their fighter. No, you don't.
Like if Eddie Hearn believed in Conor Benn, he put him in with Avenesian right now.
Jules, do you believe in what James Jackson is saying? Like the slander?
Let me see. I think part of the reason Canelo didn't go back to PBC is Mayweather talking a whole bunch of trash about him. But Floyd is such a smart businessman. It's possible. You know, like we're all shooting in the dark, James. We're all shooting in the dark as to why he wouldn't have gone back. I do think that a part of the reason might have been because they were very vocal with what they were saying. You know, like Floyd, he was very vocal with what he was saying to where Canelo has to have heard this. But it could also be that, you know what? I like the way Hearn does business and I'd rather do business with him. And it's simple. It's like when you have a good rapport with somebody and you establish that rapport, you want to get back to that. Even if you take a little bit less money, you're going to want to go back to that because you like that dynamic more than this dynamic. With these guys, you cannot trust these guys because you don't have the rapport with them that you have with him. You know that he's going to do what's best for you. These guys are really just doing what's best for them. That's why you want me to fight your assembly line of fighters. That's why.
And Canelo, like you said, Canelo knows back from when with Schaefer and Heyman taking care of Oscar. He goes He goes back that far. And the thing with Eddie Hearn is Eddie Hearn's not perfect, but Eddie Hearn genuinely. He don't need Canelo. He's like, Canelo, I just want to work with you. And then he put me to work in any capacity. And Canelo respects that shit. He's not trying to fucking snake Canelo. He just wants to put on the best events.
Not more importantly is that, and it's true, Eddie has his faults. He's not like everybody has their faults, him included. But it's like it's more upfront. You know what I mean? Like it's not. With these guys, remember how many times he had to go to Caleb Plant just to get one fight. He went to him in December of 2020, no fight. Came back to him in May, no fight. He goes back to the guy after the Saunders fight. Y'all still giving me problems. Y'all giving me a hard time, man, over a fighter that ain't worth a fraction of me. I'm not going to keep going through this with y'all, B. Y'all know y'all fighters' market value. You just trying to exploit mine. We both know it because your fighters by themselves, they don't do nowhere near the numbers I do. Y'all know that, and y'all playing games. I don't have time for that.
And nobody's talking about this, how generous Canelo is. You think Floyd would have said these fools want 10 million?
Bro, Floyd wasn't giving guys. Floyd wasn't giving guys $10 million pay. God, could you imagine? That would have been like Manny giving Chris Algieri 10 million up front. Like, bro.
Floyd was paying like his opponents no more than like $2 to $3 million a fight, was he not?
Bro.
Yeah. You know,
Canelo's got
Joe,
5
Kinda
million
good.
against
He ain't
Floyd.
even paid Logan Paul yet, man.
Canelo was a pretty big star when he fought Floyd, and he got 5 million.
There
Jules,
you
when
go.
you put up that poll, right, over who the fight, what is the more valuable, what Canelo should do, Canelo or with Charlo and Benavidez or Bivol and Golovkin. I chose fucking Charlo and Benavidez because, like, look, the faster he rinses the fucking Al Heyman and they in the red because they want these fights so they can watch for free and they'll make more money for the pay per view. The faster they get rinsed, right? They'll fight for Chapter 11. They'll dissolve the fucking PBC, and all these fighters got nowhere to go.
I agree.
Boxing will
Oh
be
yeah,
better for it.
well, yeah. Al Heyman,
Destroy
Al
that
Heyman
topia
wa-
block of a promotion.
like Jules
I
said,
agree.
Al Heyman wants. I believe Al Heyman wants that so he could skate off with a $250 million because ain't no way they spent all that money.
Bruh, the way I see it, right? Drew touched on this a few weeks ago, and it makes sense that maybe what he's trying to do is deliberately sabotage the PBC so he could get away with whatever money he's already stolen and just simply file for bankruptcy. That seems like it has to be, because it's like, yo, dog, nobody in boxing or anybody in boxing knows you can't put Thurman on versus Barrios on pay-per-view. Ain't nobody gonna buy it. You can't put Martin versus Ortiz. Think about that shit. Like, you put that on pay-per-view for who, bro? You got to
Bro, he had
know.
all that talent under one roof, man, and he still couldn't make the big fights.
And
We
and
didn't
the
get
thing,
fucking Gary Russell versus Leo Santa Cruz. We didn't get Keith Thurman versus Errol Spence. I can name a whole bunch off of my
We didn't
head.
get
But, like,
Charlo versus Benavidez. Didn't get that. Probably
no,
one at
Pat
whatever.
versus Benavidez. We
that
didn't
would
get
make
Pat
I'd
you
love
versus
to see
bank,
this.
Benavidez.
bank
I'd
after
love,
bank.
I'd
fellas,
love to see these guys get
it's
audited,
all
man.
been a
He's a vulture
it's been a
capitalist.
calculated
They had
scheme.
really good
It's
fights
a
there.
Hold on, one at a time, y'all. One at a time. Go ahead, Drew.
it's a calculated scheme from overpaying in the beginning to what's going on now. At the end of the day, that 360 deal, Heyman has them, and he has control of all the money still. But on
Yeah.
paper, it looks like they're blowing through it.
Yeah, because they're
It's
cooking the
geniusly when
books.
like Joe said, he's the
They're, cook,
smartest man in the room with a bunch of idiots.
they're cooking it like
He's the smartest man in the room with a bunch of idiots.
they're cooking the books. That's what they're doing. They got to be cooking the books, because when you get that kind of a budget, and I've asked this plenty of times, that when they started out, they had an insane amount of money. You can't tell me that you blew through all of that. No, my guess is you stole some of it and you fudged the numbers to make it look like you spent it on the fights or the ad space or like that's what, because it's like, bruh, the budget they started out with for the fights that they was. Think about the fights they was putting on when they came out. You telling me you blew through all that money putting that shit on? That don't make sense
They
at
started
all.
exaggerating
What
on the
was that
losses,
fight?
man, and putting it in their pockets.
Basically,
I think the most money Heyman actually spent was on his 2 private jets.
basically,
I thought it was
basic.
a stage when it was on ABC on
And
NBC.
and listen, it's the to me it's the same tired conversation when it comes to
Yeah.
that, because like I said, every so often we end up coming back to the subject of Canelo Alvarez, not even because we want to, but because that's the news that's out there. So then the question becomes, well, why is that the news that's out there? Well, because Mike Coppinger's tweeting about it. Okay, who is Mike Coppinger an extension of? PBC.
Mm-hmm.
He's a PBC fanboy.
It's not hard.
It's not, because
you know
all
that
Canelo's
state. Oh,
fight.
sorry.
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No. You know that statement that Reynoso put out? That was probably a safe draft, just to put it out there, just to fuck with people. That they haven't made a decision yet on who to pick. They probably put it out there just to fuck with those guys.
Maybe, but it's also that I feel that was to get back at maybe Coppinger or the PBC, because he's the one that broke the story. You know what I mean? So if you feel so inclined to release an official statement based on information that's being put out there, you're essentially trying to debunk the information that's being put out there. Now, who put it out there? Mike Coppinger. And who is Mike Coppinger affiliated with? Yeah, he worked for ESPN, but we all know he PBC.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It goes back to this,
Guys,
fellas.
guys.
When do you ever see information leaking from Canelo negotiations
Not
with
usually.
anybody outside the PBC?
Not
The
usually.
the only controversy there was when Triple G and them were going back and forth for the rematch, and Triple G ended up winning the bigger split. That's
Is it
it.
a chance that this 100 million offer is something like wider 100 million offer to AJ
Yeah.
Anthony Joshua?
Oh no. See, no. I'm gonna tell you what. No, it's different because with Anthony Joshua, that was a high stakes game of chicken based on playing. They were playing at the ignorance of the boxing fans to turn them against Anthony Joshua. That's all that was. Honest to God, and it's not hard to see that.
Yeah,
With with Canelo, however, it's a different game. It is a different game because this is the biggest name in boxing. If you want to bring him to the table, you are going to have to put up certain dollar amounts. Otherwise, you ain't even in the running. That's why there's a rumor out that Bob Arum didn't bother to try to court Canelo Alvarez because he knows what kind of purses it would take to bring him to ESPN, and he's not down to pay that. Bob is smart. Like, piss and get the fuck off the pot, yo. Shoulda get off the pot. Bob not going. He don't got time to play them games that the PBC is playing. They're like, nah, I ain't gonna go bankrupt trying to bring him over here. We'll bring him over here after that. For all we know, maybe the way it plays out is that Canelo completes the 2-fight deal at Matchroom. Then when it's over, he goes to see the winner of Better Be versus Smith. Maybe that's the way it happens.
Yeah, I think he'd be better off taking the Triple G and Bivol fight.
Makes
You know?
sense because he's had time to
He's
heal.
better off, fellas. He's better off doing whatever the fuck he wants,
Yep.
and that's it.
Or
Yeah,
it could
and
be
that would
maybe
make
that he feels that this, hey, it's easy
One at a
money either
time,
way.
fellas. One at a time. Go ahead, JBN.
I was just gonna say, and that would make sense because from the last time that he fought up until May, that's a good time for him to recovery from those training camps. So he fights B-Ball, wins that belt, has a little bit of rest until September, fights pretty much I feel like a good tune-up fight with Triple G, and then he
Yeah.
goes right back to fighting another hard fight, which either Joe Smith or Betterby were the winner. If those two fight, the winner of that fight.
Now, Jules, what does your crystal ball say he wants to do in 22 and 23 Canelo with the rest of his career?
I honestly believe he wants to do something in the UK. I feel that way. It's just unclear what can he do now in the UK because he's wanted to go international, and that much we know. I feel like he's trying to build on what he's doing, and that's why he's leaning towards the Matchroom deal, at least based on reports. That's what the reports indicate. That's what's out there, and they cater to a global market. PBC doesn't. PBC is the same old sorry ass shit trying to cater to the American market. Charlo ain't no global star. Benavidez ain't no global star. Gennady Golovkin is. He's known around the
Julius.
world.
Can I just say
Hey,
something about
Julius.
that, or one thing about that?
Yeah, country, go ahead.
What is in the UK for Canelo really?
Could I say something about that?
John
Go
Ryder.
ahead. Go
I
ahead.
feel like Canelo is a bigger star now from him fighting Caleb Smith, Billy Joe Saunders, and those other Brits in in America, that he could go to the UK and fight and not even have to fight a UK fighter and sell out either a good sized arena or a stadium because
Now,
boxing is that big over there. Also,
Now, let me say that what's over there in the UK for Canelo Alvarez is the market, not a fighter. He can fight whoever the fuck he wants over there. You understand? Like, it's not like Canelo's not in a place where he's building his name. He has his name already. He probably just wants to go over there for the fuck of it at this point. There's not a lot that he hasn't done. He's a 4-division champion, undisputed, biggest name in boxing in America. In order for you to try to get his attention for 2 fights, you have to try and get him $100 million. That's where he's at. Going to the UK is a little more than just a bucket list to him.
And after being over there, fellas, I will say this about the UK fans. They respect the entire game, and they stay up as late as they can and watch American fights, and they'll appreciate Canelo going over there. They actually watch all the boxing, unlike these PBC fucks.
Yeah,
So
like,
they'll look at it as an event with Canelo going over there. They'll respect the history and like, oh, I got to see the best fighter of that era fight.
I don't
home.
like to. I don't like to
That's
get.
a good point.
I don't like to get into politics too much, but it kind of pertains to where America is as far as its boxing and things like that. That Americans really believe that this is like the center of the planet or the center of the universe. That if it ain't happening in America, it ain't like motherfucker. Do you see how many people are going to Dubai right now? Do you see that? Do you see how many shows get sold out and how many big things is happening for boxing in the UK? And you still and you could look at a show like Ortiz versus Martin, and you could literally see that ain't nobody there. And you still think, nah, I gotta be in America, bro. America's
Look,
it,
one way
bro.
or
America's
another,
it, bro.
Floyd is gonna need that money for money kicks, man. At
Fights
some
off,
point.
bro. Fights off.
Damn.
No, the
Damn.
fights off, bro.
I know, but eventually they're gonna come back.
Question.
Bro.
The question. Something has actually been poking in my brain. I know I was being, but I'm just genuinely curious. Does anybody think that John Ryder is Canelo's UK coming out UK party?
No, it could be someone else. It doesn't have to be him. It could be someone else. Like it could be like, look. Let's say you said Canelo Alvarez. Hold on. Canelo Alvarez versus Joshua Buatsi at the O2 Arena. You think that don't sell out?
Oh shit! Damn.
It does. That's what I mean. That it doesn't right now. We looking at right now. Whoever it is, it doesn't have to be clear right now. It literally doesn't. But that's because of where he is as an attraction. It could be John Ryder if he feels like it. He fucking fought Avni Yildirim for God's sake. So it could be John Ryder. It could be Joshua Buatsi or somebody. It could be. You never know. It could be a lot of guys. But that's because of where he is, not because of who his opponent is. He's past the point where, I need a dance partner. Nah, you don't, not anymore.
No, because wherever Canelo goes, no matter where it is, it could be anywhere over people are going to show. It's going to be a big. It's going to be a big event.
Bro, he fucking
Japan,
the moment he fought Avni Yildirim, that should have opened up people's eyes. That like, this opens the door to a lot of possibilities, international possibilities. That he's willing to fight a guy like this. And he still makes a crazy amount of money that nobody else would make fighting this guy. He still makes a crazy amount of money. That opens.
Does anybody remember how he fought when he fought Yildirim? Right, Jamal Charlo was trolling him, saying that nobody was there.
Yeah, and the very next wait, in the very next fight, he breaks the indoor attendance record.
No, I'll be surprised with Jamal saying how nobody's there, right? But like, wait a minute, but you're there.
He was there at the Caleb Plant fight too.
But it's not. But let me say this. Nobody say nothing. Let me say this. This is how childish and stupid things have become. Like you said, Jay, he was there saying nobody's there. The very next fight, he breaks the indoor attendance record, and these retards in America still want to argue. They still want to argue with it. If you go on Twitter, they'll still argue with you like it didn't even happen. It's like, bro, let me save us both some time. What you think about boxing don't matter. You know why it don't matter? Because you don't pay for boxing. It's that simple. In order for you to matter, you have to pay. Simple. Now, I buy the fucking pay-per-views. Even if I don't be at the fights, I buy the pay-per-views, though. See what I mean? You got to show and prove. But if you still in fights, and if you have to go as far as using pirated links to watch regular cable fights, all right, you really don't fucking matter. If you can't afford a fucking $20 Showtime subscription, you really don't fucking matter.
Those
If you
guys
can't
even pay for the zone.
That's what I mean. It's like it's everything. Like I don't understand how there could be this much confusion over this. But it's not complicated. It's always been simple. If you want to support somebody, bumping your fucking gums is not support. Tweets are not support. Motherfuckers can't eat tweets. You can't go to Con Ed and give them some tweets and keep the lights on. You know what I mean? Like, on what planet is these motherfuckers living on that arguing on Twitter all day is their support? That shit don't do nothing, bro. It ain't about nothing. What I know is they put on a solid card for both the Charlo brothers during the pandemic, and you motherfuckers didn't buy it. I bought it. But you motherfuckers didn't buy it. The ones that argue about Charlo all day, and there's Facebook groups with more members than that had pay-per-view buys, bro.
Oh, man. And they got the nerve to say that Bud doesn't sell. The fuck
yeah,
out of
right.
here.
Exactly.
Shit is retarded. Like, look, they was clowning Bud. They was clowning Bud because he only did 130,000. They look at Keith Thurman as a bigger name than Bud. So how come Keith Thurman's pay-per-view didn't do 130,000?
Less than half.
Hey, Jules,
He
like
also
Hammer's
always
back,
sells out
man.
every arena. You never see an empty arena when Bud fights.
I mean, nah, that's the other thing. Even the fights at 140, it was always people at the fights. Even the ones at 140 with Londongo, with Pascal, with Diaz, with Molina. It's
I
people there,
bought the
bro.
Postal pay-per-view.
Shit is I didn't buy that one because I was at work. I didn't buy that one.
Even when the pay-per-view market was like going down after Mayweather Pacquiao, I still bought that one.
Let me read the super chat. Anyone else think Canelo has 2 pounds, two first undisputed, 2 dives simultaneous? I don't understand that.
Divisions.
Has a chance to be
Divisions.
first
In two
undisputed in
divisions.
2 divisions simultaneously.
Oh
If Triple-
well, Evander Holyfield was undisputed at 2 weights. So I think you mean in the 4-belt era. In the 4-belt era, it's between Canelo and Usyk. It's between them. If Usyk beats AJ and he goes into the Fury fight, he also has the opportunity to become undisputed at 2 weights. And he's honestly very close to doing it. I don't think people realize how close he is to actually doing that shit.
Good
'Cause-
point, Jaime. Good point.
Charlo saying there's nobody at a Canelo fight is hilarious to me. When we saw what he did on pay-per-view, Charlo not drawing anything without a name. And the fact that we gotta constantly go over that is how ridiculous and childish things have become. Like, bro, maybe you a decent fighter, right? Maybe you are, but you're not a fucking star. What are you, retarded? The nerve of you going to a Canelo fight trying to crack wise. And the nerve, the fucking nerve, bro.
That's what when he said that. I'm like, oh, nobody's here, but he sure got your ass to show up, didn't he?
Nerve. The fucking nerve.
Okay, guys. Some guys want to talk about this social media cloud, this game that I don't understand fully, really, because I don't know how that game translates to boxing, to fights. I think it helps, but I don't think it's all. I don't think it's a decisively factor. But if you look at a guy like Jake Paul or this guy Logan Paul, those guys have hundreds and hundreds of hours of content in the internet. They have been working in the internet, in the social media cloud game for years.
Yeah.
So you cannot expect to do the same thing just talking some shit in a clip in an interview. These guys have videos, sketches, podcasts. They have been working on that.
Listen,
years.
Logan Paul has been around since Vine, bro. You remember Vine?
Yeah.
Do it for the
Oh,
Vine.
yeah.
That's how fucking long Logan
2012.
Paul, bro. That's like, ain't that like 10 years ago?
Yeah, like
Yep, that's a
2013.
while
That's like
ago, man.
That started like in 2011, 2012.
Bro.
Yeah, long
I was
time
in
ago.
high school, bro.
The truth is that what they want is a shortcut, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you're talking about. There's always a guy or always some guys that want a shortcut. And to be successful, there literally are no shortcuts. You have to do the work. It doesn't matter what we're talking about. Boxing, lifting weights, creating content, being a doctor, studying to be a neuros. You got to do the work. There's no shortcuts. You got to do. And if your idea of the work is talking shit on Twitter to try to create it, that's not work, bro. That's not work, bro.
Even a guy like Ryan Garcia. I don't really like Ryan Garcia, but this guy
I don't think anybody
has
does.
been in a lot of YouTube channels. He has been cultivating his profile, Instagram. He has been doing the work to have that following. I don't appreciate it, but I understand that it's work behind.
Yeah. I mean, for what it's worth, it is something. But because I don't have the stomach for Ryan Garcia or many of the children of his generation, I fuck him. Fuck him.
Thank you, Jules. Thank you.
Güey, no, it's just like he's dead to me.
Wait, Jules.
Ese pinche güey no vale, man.
Joe, let me hit the pads.
Man, fuck him. The main but Leo did hit the nail on the head that Leo hit the nail on the head that it's a lot of guys that are looking for shortcuts, and it's like even Logan Paul and Jake Paul's social media following, even that it took work. You think that you're gonna become a star by name association with Canelo instead of your own career, instead of your own fights. That's why all of y'all standing single file waiting for the same dude to give you a chance, because you don't care enough about your own career to do the work. You trying to just chill on easy street. Like, I see where that gets you.
Like, you know what I can appreciate though personally, like the Turby Evans Smith Jr. They got out of that Canelo line and they're gonna unify.
Yeah. Can't get mad at that shit. You can't get mad at that shit.
That's
like
a good fight.
The only way to sell fights, and this may come as a shock to everyone, but the only way to sell fighters is to sell fights. Boxing fans want to see boxing because they're boxing fans. It's not complicated. They want to see boxing matches. Now, motherfuckers that spend
boxing matches. You're right.
Motherfuckers that want to sit on Twitter all day, I don't know what they want to see, bro. I think they just want something to argue about, if I'm being honest with you. I think they just want to, I think that's just what they want. But they don't want boxing matches. How do I know? These are the people that have been arguing against Crawford versus Spence. They don't want to see that. They never wanted to see that. That's what social media people want. Boxing fans that pay money for boxing matches, they want to see fights. We're not the same. I don't want to sit on Twitter. I don't want to sit on Twitter arguing with Joe Blow in Idaho or Jim Brown in Cleveland, right? About Spencer's. I don't want to argue with you, bro. I don't give a shit what you think about boxing. I want to see the fight. Period.
Do you? No.
Fucking
and it's hilarious. These dudes think they're like on Odell Beckham Jr.'s level of stardom, and they come out here to fucking LA during Super Bowl week, and the club's like, we don't know who you are. We don't care that you can spend $50,000 for the table minimum. They were literally turning away people at the clubs this past weekend, even if you had a blue check and could afford the table. If they didn't know who you are, you're not getting in. And that's what Charlo and them are. They think they're fucking stars and nobody knows who you are, bro. You're gonna go to the fights in 30 years and people be like, who is that guy?
I'm telling you, it's gonna be weird, right? Because I don't remember an era where so many of the fighters in it were so forgettable. You know what I mean? Like, you remember the guys that was around during Oscar and Felix and Fernando Vargas and all of you remember those guys.
Yeah.
You remember Floyd, but not just Floyd, Manny, Bradley, Marquez. You even remember fucking Algieri. You remember these guys.
Cotto,
bro. You remember these guys.
A lot of guys that people remember.
Someone said it real well on a podcast or Twitter. This is going to be the era of the fighter that never was.
This is going to be one of the most forgettable eras. This is going to be one of the most forgettable eras. Because it's like, bro, if you look back, and Keith Thurman is circling the drain. We all know it. So when you look at what he's done so far, oh, you beat Sean Porter. Oh, you beat Danny Garcia.
Yay.
And this is going to be the era. There's how many Hall of Famers are in this era?
Bro,
I say like, okay, like out of all the welterweights, maybe Terrence Crawford, he's a shoe-in. I'd say.
I think Crawford's in the hall because of the undisputed.
I think the only PBC welterweight, probably Sean Porter. What do y'all think? Because he fought everybody. You think?
That's not good enough for my Hall of Fame.
I gotta be your contemporaries to be considered multi-grade.
The shit is that, look, and I fuck with Sean heavy, like I do. I fuck with Sean heavy. But if they was gonna let motherfuckers in the hall just for fighting motherfuckers, then Gabe Rosado would be in the hall.
That's true.
That motherfucker
it would just be the hall of moral victories.
Yeah,
yeah.
Now, if they
That's why I asked.
added Porter's amateur career and his win over Usyk, then you might have a point.
Yeah.
Namus, they would
We'll
have
keep
to
bringing
because
that
it's
up,
gonna be
man.
like what you in the what we gonna put him in the hole for losing a Brock or losing a Thurman.
Y'all know he beat y'all know Porter beat Andrade and Danny Jacobs in the amateurs too.
Yeah, he got one win
Yeah,
over
yeah.
Danny. They fought more than once. He got one win over Danny. I didn't know about Andre. I didn't know
Andrade, he
about
beat him
that.
too. Beat him too. Yep.
But like man, it's like yo, this era, it's like you gonna remember Usyk. I think you'll remember Usyk. He's done enough that he'll be remembered. That
Oh,
I think that
Oh yeah.
I think that goes without saying. You're definitely gonna remember Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder at
Yep.
minimum because of the conversation and what it became. Obviously, you're gonna remember Fury. You're gonna remember at welterweight. Look, maybe you'll remember Crawford and Spence. Maybe Crawford and but just because of the conversation,
Triple G.
you'll remember Triple G because of the Canelo fights, because of the big Dremacho. But
Yeah.
it's
Loma.
a lot of guys that ain't like, look, bro, motherfuckers 10 years from now is not gonna be sitting around talking about Keith Thurman, being real with you. Or Danny Gar, they're not gonna talk about them. Like, no, you
Who's that?
know.
They're gonna talk about Danny Garcia's suits.
Y'all know what's gonna happen to Keith? In 10 years, he's gonna lose his hair. How much y'all want to bet?
I'm gonna tell you this though: when Usyk
He-
becomes undisputed at heavyweight, he's gonna go down as a top 15 heavyweight of all time.
Listen,
He'll
we
be in
ain't
my
gotta
top 10. Period.
listen, we ain't gotta wait 10 years for Keith to lose his hair, Jay. He losing his now. In 10 years, he gonna lose his mind because he done already lost all his hair. Like, he don't got the head. He don't got the head to rock a baldy. He gonna look weird as shit because he don't got the head to rock a baldy. Shit is well out here, B.
Hey, Jules, by the way, man, if you get one of them guns, man, you need to bring it on the show and let us check it out, man.
You talking about with that gel blaster?
Yeah, the plug install, man.
Hey, Jules is gonna do a gel blaster review and tutorial.
I'm gonna do a product review.
Hey, they got multiple.
I mean,
Oh,
listen.
man.
All jokes aside, I should because I know Floyd needs the money. He out here fighting YouTube.
He's out here getting sued. Fighting YouTube.
He needs the money, B.
Hey, they got multiple models, man. Go on that website, dude. They got all kinds of different models. They even got a pistol.
And the thing about that, you don't ever hear Oscar having money problems like this. And Oscar's
Nah.
worth
No.
nine
Oscar's
figures
a very
too.
wealthy man. He's a very
Listen,
wealthy guy.
listen.
Well, Canelo made Oscar rich, so
I mean, the other thing about, but this is that I'm glad that he said that because if you notice, it's true. Like you don't hear about Oscar and all this extra shit. Like you might hear that he did some coke or that he was lit, but other than that, he looked like he having a good time. B. Like,
Oscar's always lit, bro.
yeah,
Okay,
like,
so
y'all don't care what anybody says. When he was covering the Trill card,
breaking news on Instagram, ESPN says Canelo has agreed to the deal and that Bivol has signed his contract, but Triple G hasn't signed his yet.
that's what's up.
He will with the shit. He was talking Triple G will sign. I think
read the super chats. Let me read the super chats. Also, when Canelo broke the attendance record, we were in the middle of a pandemic. Charlo and his brother together couldn't do that. Jamal is a fool. I agree. Jaime also says this 147 era is so bad. There are people already saying Spence is Hoff. For what? Spence gonna be known for not fighting. But yo, I said that shit. I said that shit.
Exactly.
Listen, I swear to God on a stack of Bibles, I said this right before the pandemic hit in 2019 that what Errol Spence Jr. is going to be remembered for is the Crawford fight that he didn't have if he doesn't have it. That's the only thing they're going to remember him for because you beating Brook is not no monumental shit. It ain't. I'm sorry, like beating Brook is monumental. Beating Sean Porter is monumental. That's all you did, bro. That's it.
Hey, by the way, somebody said that Canelo tweeted that nothing is confirmed yet, even though they're saying different.
Let me go look at it.
Come on, man.
Let me go look at it.
I don't know. That somebody said that. I'm not saying it's true.
No. I'm about to go.
I sent you the DM on Instagram, Jules.
I'm about to go look at it. Hold on. Let me see. On Instagram, I was on Twitter.
I sent you the DM.
I bet. ESPN, Canelo Alvarez has agreed to 2-fight deal with Matchroom Boxing. Now let me go look at what Canelo said on we go look at what Canelo himself said, if he said anything. Sobre mi siguiente pelea, nada está confirmado. That's what he said.
Nothing's confirmed.
But my gut tells me that he's about to agree to the deal. That's what my gut tells me, because everything is pointing in that direction. Everything is pointing in that direction. I don't know why he demands so much secrecy, but hey, he know how to make the money, so who the fuck am I to question him?
Yeah, that's something he makes, definitely.
I mean, like, what is he gonna do? Take the PBC deal after this?
I mean, listen, I would have been okay with him beating the fuck out of Charlo. I'd have been okay with it. Like, I don't have
that'd have been glorious. I told y'all if that fight happened, I was gonna go and get front row.
Yeah, like I didn't like. The funniest shit about it is these guys act like we have a preference, like we don't want him to. Bro, he can fight Charlo. It don't matter. Yeah, because he gonna fucking win, bro. It don't matter. He could fight Charlo. He could fight. It don't matter, bro. It's a pay-per-view anyway, so it really don't matter.
But if you can't get the fight, all he has to do is look at Division 1 up over. And once again, this fight's there.
And everything Coppinger's posting, he keeps mentioning PBC. He's pissing Canelo off because PBCs are the one leaking this information.
Yeah, they are. Those are his sources. His source. Everybody knows that even though he works for ESPN, he's almost like another arm of PBC's promotion. Even though he works for ESPN, which
so is he a double agent?
I mean, but by definition, he is.
Seems like it.
By definition, he is. Like, yeah, you might work for ESPN, but underneath it all, you a PBC guy. And I like I said, look, man, motherfuckers done turned PBC into some goofy ass, some clown ass shit, man. Like, y'all don't want boxing matches, because if you really a fan of the PBC and their fighters is supposedly the fucking best, right? So why don't you demand that Benavidez fight Charlo?
Thank you.
Yeah,
I buy that.
We didn't have we didn't have to beg Bob to make Loma versus. We didn't have to beg Bob to make Loma versus Lopez. We didn't have to beg Bob to make Joe Smith versus Beterbiev. We didn't have to beg Bob to make Stevenson versus Valdez. All of that, easy peasy. Why the fuck we gotta beg you to make Benavidez versus Charlo? What are you waiting for?
And Jules, all those fights you just mentioned, are those going to be pay-per-view fights?
Nope.
They hello, beautiful, even better for us.
It's like any other outfit. Like, you don't gotta beg Matchroom to make Matchroom fights between Matchroom fighters. You don't have to beg Top Rank to make Top Rank fights with Top Rank fighters. But even within the PBC, how many videos and how many years did I spend talking about Gary Russell and Leo Santa Cruz? Like,
yep. I was about to bring that up.
How many fucking years did I spend, like, yo, when are y'all gonna make that shit, bro? Like, that's the best fight to make ever. And y'all don't want to make it for whatever reason. Plant got a belt, David got a belt. Y'all don't want to make that. The only shit you making is some shit to protect Spence. That's the only real shit you make. Well, let's put Ugas in there with Spence. It's better than Bud. Corny ass shit, man.
Like, how much your ring is Jules, is like you said, your video, like, if Tank and Cruz win the next fights, they're gonna rematch. What fuck around, it's gonna be a draw in a rematch.
Fuck around. But like I said, wait, like, and Ronnie said this, and I believe him, bro, because he been said this. He looked in his crystal ball. Shout out to Ronnie Fresh. Ronnie looked in his crystal ball and he said he sees Rolly beating Davis. That's what he said. And he wasn't playing. And when I thought about it, and I really thought about it, like, look, man, this kid went 12 with Gamboa. He fucking just went 12 with Isaac Cruz. Rolly is flawed, but he's bigger than notice.
That was on short notice, too.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because, like, it's funny because somebody left a comment and they were saying, like, Rolly, even though he sucks, his awkwardness could be a problem.
Bro, all I know is that he bigger and younger than Gamboa, and he a lot bigger than Isaac, B. Roly punch.
And I'm the asshole.
Bro, I'm just being real.
But guys, this unification match in the welterweight division,
Real shit, yo.
this unification fight in the welterweight
Oh my
division,
God.
Ugas versus Spence. The welterweight division must be one of the weirdest divisions now, because you have a Spence that is unified, and it came from a car accident, fights Danny Garcia after what, 1 year and a half
Yeah.
in activity. Okay, he kept those belts. I don't know why. I don't. You have Butsenis, Virgil Ortiz, all these guys that could be active champions. No, Spence have the belts. Okay, but at least fighting the other champion. Okay, this guy got elevated because Manny Pacquiao didn't fought in 2 years, and
Yep.
he fight that Manny Pacquiao after 2 years, and he wins. Now he's the champion. He doesn't want to fight Butai or Sanyones because if we, let's say that title is vacant and he fights Sanyones or Butai, I can give him credit for that. I cannot give him full credit for beating a guy like Pacquiao after 2 years. He's 42, Pacquiao, 42 años de edad, por ahí.
Mira, ponlo tú, Leo. Hace mucho tiempo, Jeff Horn peleó con Manny Pacquiao. And even if you don't think Jeff won, he made Manny look old. The same Manny who went to the PBC after that looks like he found the fountain of youth, right? But that same Jeff Horn got the shit beaten out of him easy. No fuss, no muss. By Terrence Crawford, who they don't give any credit. This is why I say that, and I've been saying this. Me saying this is not new. I've been saying this since 2018. These are not boxing fans, bro. But what boxing fan behaves that way with all this bullshit? Like, bro, the dude that you high on has fought once in the last 2 years. So what exactly about him are you high on? Because it ain't fighting. He ain't been fighting. What you high on, bro? And what did I say? They want to rub shea butter on his back. That's what it is. That's what
Jules,
it is.
They want
Jules.
that truth.
Hey, Jules, one of the guys.
That's what I've been saying, bro.
hey,
I
Jules,
want to rub
one of the
cocoa
guys-
butter
one
on
of
his
the
They
guys
need
in the
help coming
comments
out.
said-
They need help coming out.
Hey, Jules, one of the guys in the comments said, "Don't exaggerate too much, Jules. Bob wanted the Navarrete fight for some reason. Remember, we had to beg a little for the Valdez."
Nah,
versus
that's not
Stevenson fight.
true. Because for starters, Bob wasn't the one that wanted the Navarrete. Well, let me explain. After Navarrete's last fight, Fernando Beltran of Zanfa Promotions, he was asking for the Valdez fight. And Bob was like, all right, y'all want it? All right, we'll do that. Now, I believe that there must be some kind of situation between Navarrete and Zanfer because things have gone very quiet. Navarrete said he's a free agent, and Zanfer said, no, you're not. But what we do know is we didn't get Navarrete versus Valdez, did we?
No.
Mm-mm. I mean,
So
but Leo makes a good point because, like, Leo, you were saying, like, could we give Ugas credit if he beats the past Manny Pacquiao than a Spence who's damaged goods? That's what you were saying, right, Leo?
Bro, it's the
Yeah.
land of it's the land of the shitty welterweights, bro.
Yeah.
It's too many asterisks in all those champions, except for Crawford, because at least Crawford is fighting guys.
Yeah.
At least.
Dude, Crawford fucks up all these dudes at the PBC, all of them.
Bro, all
I mean,
these cats, look, Danny Garcia has not fought in a year. So what does beating him mean right now? Thurman just went the distance with Barrios. What does beating him mean right now? Spence has fought once in the last 2 years. What does it really mean to beat him right now? And Ugas got elevated to champion, as Leo stated, without a contest, and he beat a 2 years inactive 42-year-old or 41-year-old Manny Pacquiao. It's like, bro.
I'm not gonna lie; those fights are marketable, but Crawford mops the floor with them.
Yeah, but that's what I mean, Virtuoso. That, like, you know, when you say, like, okay, will Usyk beat a prime Gassiev. You know what I mean? Like, motherfucker had just knocked out Dorticos. He fucking beat him, yo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they don't. It ain't none of that in there. Like, bro, you beat Manny after Manny had 2 years of inactivity. And you know what the funny shit is? Juan Manuel Marquez still did a better job than all. That was years ago. It was years ago, bro.
Knocked his ass out.
Smooth
Yo, real
out.
quick, did I hear Boxing Dev say earlier in the show that Castano dropped the belt?
Yeah, she felt what she was saying was her prediction that if by some chance Undisputed can't get done and Tim Tszyu hits the gas to bring the fight to Australia, if the fight requires Brian to go to Australia, he will drop the belt.
Yeah.
That's a hot take.
That's a hot take.
So
It's a hot
because he's
take.
gonna make more money than he's ever made going over there.
Listen, before the Charlo fight was made official, Brian's one of Brian's representatives said that they're like, we want the fight in America. They were talking about Tim Tszyu. They said that. So,
you know what's funny? I mean, out of those two, out of Castano and Charlo, I think Tim has a better chance odds of beating Brian. I do. Tim
has the style for it, but I don't know that he has the experience.
I mean, Charlo struggled with more. I can see him struggling with him more, but like, you know, if all Brian does is come forward, then that's So
Tim has the style for it. We saw that in the Takeshi Nui fight, but Brian Castano is a step above, a cut above Takeshi Nui. So you need the rounds, you need the experience. Like, yeah, he has the right style, but I don't think he has enough experience to win that fight. Not yet.
So you think he should just sit back, have another fight, and let them fight?
I think this is what I think. I would not do them any favors fighting on the co-main of their card because they can set him up, and I really hope he doesn't. Now that I think about it, because I think that's what they're doing. They could set him up to lose in a fight that he wins.
The Gachet, right?
Yep.
Yeah. That's what I said, like he has to stop Gachet.
Look at what they did to Mikhail Fox, bro. Look at what they did to me in the Maestro fight.
Oh yeah.
Look at what they did to Custio Clayton in the Lipinets fight.
Yeah, if he fights Gachet, Gachet, Tim is gonna have to knock him out to win.
I'm telling you, I really don't want him to fight on that card. Like, I need to call Brian Rose. Like, listen, Brian, don't fuck with them, bro. I'm gonna call him. Somebody in Australia, give me his number, more. Shout out to Mo.
Fuck with those people.
Amok says, just stopping by to show some love. Appreciate that, Amok. Can Canelo go for Undisputed at 2 divisions at the same time, not one after the other? No, he cannot, because there's a rule. Well, actually, yeah, he can go for Undisputed at 2 weights. He can, but he won't be able to hold on to all the belts for very long because the WBO puts you on the spot when they see you win a belt at a different weight than the weight where you hold the belt with them. They're going to tell you, like, yo, where you campaigning at? Because if you're not going to campaign here where you have our belt, then you need to drop it. That's what they did to Sinicia Estrada. They told her, like, yo, you can't have our belt here while you up there fighting for that belt. You're going to have to choose. And they fast with that shit. They real fast with that shit.
You know what? For all that, you know, the WBA, we on some fuckery. For every one legit champion, there's like 10 of them.
Well, not anymore. They phased out a lot of them shits, right?
Yeah.
They did phase out, but it looked like they back to their old bullshit. Because I think there's like a cruiserweight that has a secondary title. I think, I'm not sure. It's around there. Somebody got a secondary title, and we know Trevor Bryan. He got the WBA baby belt at heavyweight. Right. He got like one of the last ones.
The Mickey Mouse belt.
Fucking shit,
3D printed belt.
Oh god.
And on that night, gentlemen, y'all have a good night. Go watch that Tiafimo video trying to suck up to celebrities during Super Bowl. It's cringeworthy.
Oh shit! Shout out to y'all. I'm about to go to bed myself.
Y'all have a good night, fellas.
Yes, DC, man. They got a new update on the game.
Bro, when is that shit coming out?
They just came out with look, man. It's a lot of hard work to fucking develop a game like that, man.
My God, but it's like, yo, come on,
it's gonna be what 2K was to NBA Live. Trust me.
All right. Y'all take it easy.
Wait, Jules,
Shit.
Good night,
one
guys.
last thing. How do we watch these Probellum cards on? Was it Saturday? They coming on or
That's in March. That
Okay.
those two cards from Probellum are out there in March. I don't know who the broadcast partner is yet, but if you don't hear that ESPN or look on Fight. If you don't know where they are, just check Fight to see if they're on Fight, because if they ain't on ESPN and they ain't on Show, which I don't think they would be on Show. They don't got nothing going on with Show. But
Where's
check
Fight?
Fight TV, FITE TV.com.
For sure.
Okay.
I'll check for it.
Cool.
All right, sweet.
Thanks, man.